Welcome to Games XP Championship Season 5. I'm Hottie Williams, and joining to me tonight is a man normally solidifying his spot as the freshest top in GXPC. But tonight, he's the freshest co-caster and Season 4 champion. It's White Lotus's Freshburger. How you doing, White Lotus? Freshburger.
I don't know if I can speak for my entire team, but I'll do my best. We're doing pretty well. Looking forward to win the season again, but that's not the point tonight. We are here to see who's going to win this particular matchup.
And this is the matchup, the first game of the season between Team Fish Tacos and returning Reign of Kings. Team Fish Tacos is new, and Reign of Kings has a bunch of returning players, and it is a returning team that joined the Games XP Championship middle of season last season.
Right. But see, the problem here is they don't have the tastiest name over there on Reign of Kings, so I think they're going to have to lose this matchup.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fish Tacos. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too.
I'm from California originally, dude, and there's nothing better than going down and getting a fish taco. Whew.
I don't know about nothing better, but it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Definitely up there. So kind of run down the lineups while we wait for us to jump into... Oh, looks like we're jumping into picks and bans already. Hopefully the stream will switch over to that. There we go. Ahaha. So we have Team Fish Tacos taking blue Psy, and they ban out the Wreck Psy.
I mean, that has to be expected against AJAT jungle.
Yeah, pretty expected. Followed quickly by LeBlanc from ROK, that's targeted at Puffins, MIA in the mid lane. And then Zyra, which is targeted at Backpack, I believe, in the bot lane.
An interesting choice for a target ban. I thought the Soraka was honestly the scariest pick from Backpack. You don't want to mess with his Soraka.
Yeah. We also have a ribbon ban coming out against Azuki, the top for Team Fish Tacos. I'm just gonna call them Fish Tacos right now. It's the two T's. It's just too weird.
All right, I think that's fair. Fish Tacos, it is.
Fish Tacos, and then of course we have a Camille ban, just avoiding the early pressure junglers right now, followed by a Galio, and then immediately an Aatrox first pick.
All right, I like that too. I like that. Fish Tacos is making a very strong case for themselves with that Aatrox pick.
Dude, it's nice to see teams picking up what's strong in the meta. You know, it sometimes can be a struggle at these, master tier leagues, we'll just call them.
Master tier, yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah. Basically, now we've moved the rank cap up to D2 100 LP, so basically Submaster. RK answers back with a very, very strong Lucian pick. You think they'll pick support here?
Yeah, they'll probably take the Braum to go with that Lucian right now, make sure it doesn't get picked away from them. Because that is a combo that you don't want to pass up on.
Have you guys been seeing any other priority picks come out from the side of just in your scrims?
No, it seems like everybody's still kind of fishing around trying to find their favorite picks. Not entirely sure what the meta is yet.
Gotcha. We do see a strong jungler picked up for a Jat in Zinzao, probably one of the strongest early game junglers right now.
Yeah, he's up there. I don't know if he's still that great right now, but he'll be getting plenty of pressure out. The Yasuo blind pick is interesting. I think that would be quite punishable.
Yeah, they could be flexing him into a lot of different spots, though. We still don't know where that Aatrox is necessarily going. We can assume that it might be top lane, but of course, we've seen it played mid, and we've seen it played in the jungle.
And of course, Talia has been played mid and jungle, and Yasuo can be played in any lane that you want him to, so...
Yeah,
not necessarily showing much just yet.
Yeah, I would say a very scary draft so far from the side of Fish Tacos.
Certainly not something I would want to play against. The Nico coming out, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I've almost never seen it make it through make it through the first ban phase.
Well, honestly, I've actually, for like the first week or 2 weeks that Nico was out, the team that had Nico lost. Just because people didn't know how to play her. So it's definitely very interesting to see Unique, assumedly, saying, look, I know how to play it, I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to perform on it.
Well, I look forward to seeing how that Nico does. I'm not sure Yasuo is the best matchup either.
Yeah, assuming
But
it
we'll
is
just have to
the
see.
Yasuo.
Yeah. Assuming it's Yasuo.
Yeah, at this point, I would assume it is probably Yasuo with Talia jungle and Aatrox top, but that is just an assumption. We are into second round bans, and they're already targeting out a lot of supports. I like the Alistar takeaway, and I like the Morgana takeaway.
I don't know about the Skarner takeaway.
Skarner is an interesting pick. It didn't see a lot of play in the Kespa Cup, but it actually saw a ton of play at the Demacia Cup in China. Those are the two latest tournaments where we've seen professionals play. So it's definitely...
And of course, as we know, China are the reigning champions, so whatever they do must be taken as law.
Yeah. If you're not, op.gg and just, limit your results to China, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to go see what they're playing and how they're playing it and copy it as best you can.
Now, fresh
Hi,
burger.
that's me.
I don't know. Yes, Malphite. This is a GXPC special. I would say.
I hate it. Pick any other champion.
I hate it as well. I just think there's better tops. I think there's a lot of better tops.
Well, there is at least one worse top. I'll give him credit for that. He didn't pick Maokai.
Wait, you're hitting on Maokai?
It's Maokai.
And we have... Okay, at this point I'm going to say it's a Yasuo bot, Talia jungle, Syndra picked for the mid lane.
Yeah, the jungle Talia will be interesting. I haven't seen that in quite a while. Syndra, I don't think is one of the better meta picks, but just have to wait and see how that works out.
Yeah,
probably best to have a control mage into a Nico.
Probably. I still think she has really good kill pressure and pretty good lane control. Probably not as risky as a pick. I would say, like, for me as a Xin Zhao one trick, I think camping a Yasuo is pretty effective and you get a lot of kills. So I think picking something different in the mid is actually pretty strong here. Something that can play a little safer.
Alright, well, with the pick and bans now rounded out, I'm going to have to say I like Reign of Kings' draft better. They have a better balanced draft, in my opinion. The Yasuo that I assume is going bot lane is going to have a rough time into that Nautilus Lucian.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the bot lane matchups and how those lanes are going to go back and forth. But at the same time, one thing I do really like coming out from the side of Team Fish Tacos is they've picked some really strong, what I would consider meta, is we haven't seen Talia a lot, but she still does get a lot of jungle play at higher levels, and it was even brought out in Kespa by the reigning Talia jungle Tarzan. So definitely still a very effective pick in the jungle. I don't know how well it'll be played at this point. And again, we're still assuming some of this stuff, but I'd say it's pretty safe.
Yeah, well, I suppose we can watch the draft now to see where exactly everything's going and make some final decisions on it.
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay,
so
that's...
Talia, I don't know what the Malzahar hovers for. There we go.
Yeah. Still
so
confirmed.
it is a Yasuo Shen bot lane. I guess it's scary if you let them get onto you, but the double melee into a Nautilus to lock you down and a Lucian to beat on you, I don't see it going well.
Yeah, I just expect you see Nautilus auto Lucian just always stay at range, and you're never gonna really do the damage or stay on the target long enough to do the damage necessary.
Yeah, and if the Yasuo and Shen go double relic, which I imagine they will, they could end up getting pushed in for a Xin Zhao level 2, level 3 gank that could just shut down any hope that they had.
So, but here is the question. So they picked Yasuo into the Lucian.
Yes.
So they're very confident that this is the pick.
Later in the game, sure, I'll give it to him, but I don't think this lane's working out for him. The game might be over before Yasuo gets his chance to shine.
Yeah. This might also be a good point to bring up some of the lineups. So tonight, we have a couple changes in that instead of Arrow playing on the side of Reign of Kings, it's Smoothie. Arrow's out at the Rockets game, so he's cheering on his favorite... The Rockets game? I don't even know.
Who's the
basketball
Rockets?
Team? I don't know, dude. Don't ask me.
What did you say? What did you say?
I was told he was at the Rockets game. I don't know. That's what I was told.
Oh, the Houston Rockets basketball.
Yeah.
Who watches basketball?
I don't know, dude. Who doesn't just watch esports? I think we're actually competing with like the college championship of football. But who watches football? You guys are here for League of Legends. We're here for League of
Bama
Legends.
Clemson again, another snooze fest, whatever.
Yeah, put me to bed.
No one cares.
Or let me watch League of Legends.
Yeah, give me some of that good old League of Legos, and I'll be happy.
The one pick we haven't really talked about very much, we kind of touched on it, is this Nico in the mid lane. Why don't you kind of give our viewers who may not have seen her very much kind of like a rundown on her abilities and her playstyle?
Her playstyle, I believe, is press R, flash into the enemy team, deal an obscene amount of damage, and root them all.
Nice, very nice. I think that's about right.
I mean, that's what I've seen from her so far.
So the interesting thing is she was not allowed in Kespa or Demacia because she's still a very bug-heavy champion. Of course, we don't care the same about bugs here at GXPC. We
of course not. Bugs just make things more interesting.
Exactly. Bugs just make better content. You heard it here first. And so she's got a lot of cool interactions. She can fake to be people. She can even pretend to be people that are dead and show up with low health on the map and bait enemies that aren't paying attention.
See, it's perfect. When Nico's jungler, the Xin Zhao, of course, comes in to gank Syndra and dies instead, she can just turn herself into Xin Zhao and gank her own lane. It's really the perfect plan.
Hey, you could actually get yourself your own jungle ganks. That's next level, actually.
Precisely. Jungle's not ganking, do it yourself. It's the easiest thing that you could. It's the easiest thing you can do in the game. No doubt about it.
For sure. Also, one other sub change is on the side of Team Fish Tacos, instead of Be Brave at support, who is their starting support, you have Mistress Yi, who is not playing Yi, which I feel like is a sin, and
playing Master Yi support would be the real sin.
Should be a reportable
Let's be
offense. Yeah, but it is a Yi one. Like the count actually has over like 200 games of Yi played last season, which isn't close to anything else on it. So definitely someone who loves their Yi, and who knows, if we stick around long enough, we might see it.
Oh, we just might.
So we really haven't talked about what either team wants to do to really win the game.
All right, so let me lay it out for you right now. All right,
yeah.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple.
All right, so for the blue side, what they want to do is kill the red team's Nexus, and for the red side, what they want to do is kill the blue team's Nexus. The most effective way to do that, of course, is by auto-attacking it.
Okay, you guys heard it here first. You don't need to know anything else. Team that kills the other team's Nexus wins the game. Doesn't matter how.
Coming at you with you
don't even have to watch the game, honestly. This is just, you just can just look at it and know who wins.
All right, but to be a little bit more serious here, Xin Zhao's goal is to create some early pressure, set the Yasuo and probably the Syndra behind so that they can't take over the game with one shots and 1v3 triple kills. While on the blue side for Fish Tacos, they need Talia to alleviate some pressure in those same lanes, possibly get the Aatrox ahead of the Malphite for that split pushing pressure, and just scale into the mid to late game where they'll have advantages over the Xin Zhao and Lucian falling off.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that top lane matchup because I feel like you could run out of control for the Aatrox very quickly.
Oh, Aatrox demolished that matchup, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one for Malphite. Yeah. And then of course keeping an eye on the bot lane is gonna be very interesting. But
yeah, I can't wait to watch that bot lane in action. That'll be a pretty hot point of contest right there. That's what I was thinking of.
And we will be into the game shortly, but in the meantime, we're going to go to a commercial break. Stick with us to continue to see the outcome of the first game of the GXPC Championship Season 5. We'll be right back.
Operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4. And all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The GXPC motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa and check out GXPC and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Welcome back to Games XP Championship Season 5, Game 1 between Team Fish Tacos and Reign of Kings. What? We broke? Okay, welcome back to Games XP Championship Season 5, Game 1 between Team Fish Tacos and Reign of Kings. Team Fish Tacos is on the blue side and Reign of Kings on the right-hand side. I'm joined by Freshburger, and
Hi.
we are already jumping into the action here. Sorry for that delay. Wouldn't be Riot without a crash. Small indie company, by the way.
Of course. They're just trying to get their they're still trying to get their headquarters set up, to be honest. They're not ready to iron out all the kinks.
And we already see an interesting change from the side of Reign of Kings. we see. Oh, yeah, I was deceived. I looked and I saw the Lucian on the mini map, and I'm like, oh, it's Lucian mid. Of course, that's not Lucian mid. That's Nico mid.
No, it even deceives the spectators. That's how strong the champion is.
They need to give us
Lucian
true vision.
taking that early game, or not Lucian. Lucian giving out that early game poke.
And that's kind of how we expected that early lane to go. Is just Lucian and Nautilus, just brutalizing the Yasuo and Shen.
Yeah, let's hope they buy some brutalizers to capitalize on that.
We already have the junglers running into each other, and it looks like the top laners are roaming down. But also we have action in the mid lane, a strong trade. The flash forced away by the Talia onto the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, one of those few junglers that can actually deal with Xin Zhao in the early game, using her range advantage and making full use of it there, along with the Aatrox pressure.
Now she's invading, and she's gonna force him off. Maybe even, yep, he's dead. Oh, it gets away with the smite, lives. But she's just causing all sorts of pressure. This is just brutal from the Talia. Very strong, very well played, I would say, from the Talia.
Yeah, Xin Zhao really just needs to give up his topside jungle at this point. They can't win the 2v2 with him being that low. He just has to go farm his bot side and concede the Talia whatever she's taking up there.
Yeah, really unfortunate to kind of go for that early trade like he did. I was kind of interested why he was actually even in the river to begin with. I honestly believe if you're gonna do your blue buff and then go into topside, you should go right to red before Skittle Crab. I feel like it's a really, really greedy path, especially when you don't have prio in either of your lanes to go for the Skittle Crab topside. And you're gonna see him punished again here, going for this camp in the topside. Even Malphite having to be called over, taking massive amounts of punishment.
Malphite wanting to help out his jungler there, but really just sabotaging his own lane and showing up. He did not have any right to be there.
Yeah, that is really kind of what you said earlier. Is Xin Zhao just needed to sacrifice his top side, because he just even said his Malphite, who's arguably already in a difficult lane, further behind.
I don't know if there's anything arguable about that, but yeah, he's definitely having some issues.
Ooh, very close to a kill in the bot lane with Lucian and Nautilus still playing very aggressive. Sub 200 HP on the Shen, just over 200 HP on, and we have a trade in the top lane.
Even
now,
more importantly.
In the gank in the mid lane, it looks like this will be the first kill going over to the side of Team Fish Tacos.
Yeah, even more importantly, Talia rolling up into that mid lane with the stolen red buff. There's not much you can do there as Nico, having already burned Flash, and not having any escapes built into your kit. Just had to slowly walk away with that red buff ticking.
Let's appreciate the fact that this Talia has only done her red. Oh, and then we have a kill on the bot side. We have Reign of Kings getting the kill on the Shen. Just very greedy, I feel like, from Shen to stick around there with really no way to, I would arguably say, like, stay safely.
Yeah, he thought that his E would be enough to get him out of any danger, but unfortunately Nautilus with a perfectly timed Q to hook him out of that, and now burning both of Yasuo's summoner spells. Things are just going from rough to rougher in the bot lane here.
Yeah, but overall the game's kind of unfolding how we expected. Talia maintaining a good amount of pressure on the map, getting off a successful gank in the mid lane, and bot lane, again, a lot of pressure in the bot lane, finding that kill, equalizing the game for both sides to some extent as we go into the 5th minute.
Yeah, Talia doing a very good job of neutralizing the Xin Zhao in this game, but now she needs to take her early lead and transfer it into some pressure in the bot lane, because you do not want that Lucian to keep getting farther ahead.
Yeah. Very interesting here. She did clear out her entire bot side and left her top side. Obviously, she's going to go back into her top side and use as a jungler. This kind of signifies kind of the side of the map you're going to want to play on, because at this point she doesn't really want to go back bot because she has no camps up, so no real reason to be there.
Yeah, and her bot was looking for their back timing anyway, so there's no real reason for her to try to be down there at this exact moment.
Yeah. So most likely she's going to look for another play in and around top or mid, and then possibly after that she might go look bot. But for right now, we also have Shen roaming towards mid, and this could be 3 people at mid, but they're both pinged out by the side of Reign of Kings with some good vision control.
Yeah, they've both been spotted, and besides that, I don't think they had any good way to get onto Nico at that point, unless Talia landed a pretty lucky knockback.
Oh, and Talia looking again for an invade, but is caught out, forced to flash by the Xin Zhao. Malphite, a good ulti onto her, and this looks like it's going to be a kill. Oh, saved by the Syndra knockback and ulti, picks up the kill. You have Aatrox ulting and running after, forcing again the Zinzao out of the jungle, and we have a flash, and he might actually get the kill here. Going back down to bot lane where there's really not much action going on, so take us back to the top side.
Yeah, that was a very well-timed knockback from the Taliyah there to get the Zinzao off of her just in time to survive. And the Malphite ulting in, but not having the damage to pick that up. You really want to see the top side from Reign of Kings here. Just stop trying to go for these fights. Play around your strong side of the map, which of course right now is their bot lane.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to kind of see the insistence of Zinzao protecting that side. I would kind of, if I was the Zinzao at this point, I would kind of accept that I'm not going to get my top side and say, okay, instead, I'm going to take your bot side of the map because my Nautilus and my Lucian can roam up and help me out, and you guys don't win that 3v3.
Yeah, it's the only way, it's the only place that Reign of Kings would have any real pressure right now, but they're not making use of it just yet. The Lucian's not building up as much of a lead as it seems like he should have, only up by a single minion. And of course his kill. But they're just not building up the leads where they need to.
It looks like they're going aggressive under the side of the bot lane with Yasuo forcing the flash and using the ignite of the Lucian. Just a really effective, and then also it looks like a gank going up on the top side, and it looks like this might be a kill coming through for the side of the Yasuo, but no, he's just escaping with a barest bit of health, but he will go down in the end, and it looks like also the Shen will go down in trade for the Nautilus. Again, not really worthwhile for the side of Team Fish Tacos, but showing the potential of that matchup and what they can do on the Yasuo and the Shen.
Yeah, it seems that both sides are insisting on trying to make plays where they are weaker. Their bot lane going in for that fight.
And it looks like we have a fight going on in the mid lane here with Taliyah ulting and dodging it, but her ult being able to finish off the Nico, and it looks like the Yasuo comes in and he's gonna probably get this kill. It looks like it should go through in any second. And oh, yes, he does get the kill, but he will also go down to the tower damage. And again, looks like another fight, Taliyah there and the Nautilus, just action all across the map at this point.
Yeah, that was very, very well played from Puffles, interesting name, on the side of Fish Tacos, winning out the 1v1 against Nico, and then baiting Zinzao all the way underneath her tower to his death.
Yeah, definitely I felt like a little greedy from Zinzao, but at that point he just wanted to get something back in his favor. And I think he did pick up some amount of shutdown gold, so definitely worth. But pulling Nautilus away, they were able to cross a massive wave into bot lane. Yep. But it looks like we have another trade with the ult going on to the Yasuo, and Yasuo just exploding underneath tower, unable to do anything. They were down their ults from earlier, the Yasuo and the Shen, and so they just weren't able to get it off, and just Nautilus with a good ganking his own lane, essentially.
Yeah, still very questionable decisions from both sides, with Reign of Kings looking to make plays around the mid lane against a Syndra who's possibly the strongest champion in the game right now, maybe behind Lucian. And Fish Tacos continuing to go for those 2v2 fights in the bot lane that they have not won yet.
And like this right here from Backpack, just kind of defending the river on bot side and say, no, we are stronger in the bot side. And it looks like this will be another kill going on to Lucian. These kills are going on to the right people for this, and it looks like the fight will continue with Yasuo going in, looking to fight. Nautilus taking a lot of damage, and he's probably going to go down here, but he is able to flash out. But we have Nico ulting too. Her ult doesn't hit anyone, and you have Syndra pushing off, and it looks like we just will not stop fighting right now. And finally, it looks like there's a break from the action. But in the end, the only person that goes down was the Taliyah there. And
we do have about a kill per minute so far. Backpack with the excellent job of keeping the Taliyah in the river long enough for his team to show up and help out. The Shen ult not doing quite enough in the 3v1 to keep her alive.
Out of the 6 kills this Reign of Kings has, 5 of them are on the side of the bot lane with that's 90% kill 80% kill participation on both the Lucian and the Nautilus. So definitely a very effective bot lane and a 500 gold shutdown as we see that new shutdown mechanic come into effect on the Lucian. On the opposite side, you have Syndra very strong, having a 450 gold shutdown. Again, kind of where you want the gold to go, and it looks like we have another gank going on bot, with this time it's the Zinzao onto the Shen, and it looks like they'll be able to run it down, and Ajat picks that one up with his ultimate.
Yeah, I'm not sure they need to use both ultimates on that one, but still a very, very unfortunate time for Shen to be trying to gain some vision control. just came flying over the wall. Hey, how you doing there, buddy? Sorry, but if you want this word, you're going to have to trade your life for it.
Yeah. Heimerdoodles passes off the blue buff to Muffle Puffin so he can continue to shove that wave and look for kills. And it looks like we have a dive going on top side with the Azul.
Yeah, an extremely early ult from the Aatrox. If he's not careful, he'll go down to this tower once his ult ends.
Oh, the perfect
Of the devil.
The perfectly timed tower shot. Actually, perfectly timed tower shot.
Yeah, somebody doesn't seem to have adjusted for the shorter duration of his ultimate.
Yeah, and it looks like there was almost a counter kill in the mid lane, but a stopwatch she's able to avoid that kill, and still we have Heimerdoodles getting turret plates and looking. It looks like to try to set up for a kill when the TP on the Aatrox comes back up.
Talia burning all of her spells in that minion wave. Malphite can come in and try to look to pick up this kill now.
Oh, and he does, barely. And it looks like we have the TP from the Aatrox into the bot lane, but you're no longer able to cancel those TPs, and really it doesn't look like anything much is going to come with this, except for maybe some turret pressure.
He doesn't have ult to look for a dive either. I don't see them getting anything on this tower right now.
It looks like they might get one plate, but it looks like they're just accepting the fight, Reign of Kings, and it looks like they're going to dominate. And it looks like this could be another kill for this side. An awesome Yasuo tornado comes through and ult, and he's able to pick up the shutdown on the Xin Zhao, the kill, and now they're going to actually be able to push, and I think they're going to be able to get this bot tower for first gold because they're able to push the bot lane off.
Perhaps not the best macro call, but as far as the micro goes, Yasuo getting that knock up and ult off just in time before the Nautilus ult rendered him air.
It looks like if the Nautilus pushing back in, looking to deny, the Yasuo flashes away. They do pick up the kill on the Nautilus, but they're able to save the tower. But here comes Nico. You imagine that she might pick up the kill on the Aatrox if she does. So it goes one
Nautilus
for one.
Giving his life in defense of the tower. Nico coming in just in time to push Fish Tacos off.
The one really bad thing that I feel like went really poorly for the side of Team Fish Tacos there is they gave so much to the Malphite in the top lane. His time to farm, he got 2 kills, so he was in a really bad lane state, but now he's actually somewhat in a pretty good, and it looks like we have another gank mid with the flash from the Xin Zhao, the hook from the Nautilus, and that's the shutdown.
Flashing in a straight line to avoid a straight line skill shot. That is something that you hate to see right there.
You just really do. You hate to see it.
But yeah, so backing up a little bit, Malphite actually getting a 2 for 0 out of a 2 for 1 in the top lane. Just some questionable decisions from the Aatrox and the Talia up there.
Nautilus is willing to go in, forces the flash, but is really going to his death.
Backpack doing what he does best, I believe.
No flame.
No
Maybe
flame.
a little.
No, creating pressure around the tower. His team
is able to secure the tower because of his sacrifice.
Got first tower off of it. You can't argue with that result.
That's true. We have pings going down under the Rift Herald. It looks like they're trying to cut off the Malphite, but he's just able to take the Blast Cone, and he should be able to walk away to the safety of his tower, away from this Aatrox. But yeah, just continued strong vision control of the top side from the side of Team Fish Tacos. Xin Zhao able to pick up his camp. Maybe the only camp he's picked up top side of this game so far.
It's certainly been a while since the last one, hasn't it? Now, they're looking for a dive up here, but Malphite has his ultimate. It's way too risky for them to take the chance right now.
Yeah, I think we'll expect to see them just back off, take the vision that they've secured, push the wave, maybe look for some other objectives around the map.
Yeah, something that I find rather interesting about this match is that some players seem to be using their lives almost as a resource for other objectives. People just running headlong in the towers to try to pick up that first tower gold, running into the river to try to contest camps that they can't really go for, and diving mid lane towers to pick up shutdowns even when their death was insured as well.
As we kind of finally get a lull in a game that's honestly been non-stop action with a 19-kill game at 16 minutes, Freshburger, what would you say each team is now looking like? What are their goals to accomplish a win, to get a win from this position of the game? Because it's honestly very even right now. You do have a small lead on the side of Team Fish Tacos, about a 1k gold lead.
Well, I think for the side of Reign of Kings, you really need to fight while this Lucian is still strong. You have the Malphite to go in and knock people up, Oh, that is an uncancelable teleport right there.
Yeah, and he's able to just walk out of it. And see, they did get a flash from the Nico there in the mid lane, and a TP out. So again, you can't cancel those TPs. No reduced cooldown. So definitely a
Right,
win.
and almost punished for it hard by the Shen taunt, but unfortunately he forgot to account for the change in channel length.
Yeah.
Something that gets me all the time. But
and it looks like the Xin Zhao's finally doing what we suggested earlier, is playing towards his strong side. Pushing in, get some farm, and it looks like we have another fight developing bot lane with the bot lane going onto the Yasuo, and it looks like we're gonna have a dead Yasuo here. And yep, he falls, but it looks like on the backside, Talia is doing massive amounts of damage, but multiple members flash on her and kill her. The flash, the Lucian goes down, massive shutdown gold onto the Aatrox. The Aatrox also picks up the Nautilus, even more gold going through, but you have 3 members dogpiling onto the Aatrox, and they're able to pick him up, and the kill finally goes over to the Malphite. So
right,
ultimately, you have a 2 for 3 going in the favor of ROK.
Right, so what I was going to say before all this broke out is that what Reign of Kings wants to do is find a team fight while their Lucian is still strong. And of course the Malphite and the Nico having their ultimates, which is all they really need to impact a team fight. Because before too much longer, the Yasuo and the Aatrox are just going to start running rampant among their team. And
so definitely something
I have to say that was a relatively successful fight for them. They didn't win in kills by a large margin, but they did force off Fish Tacos, pick up the objective. Now I'm hoping that they're going to go for that Rift Herald before it despawns. If Fish Tacos comes to contest, they should win that fight, and if they don't, they can use it to pick up at least 1 or 2 towers.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go to that objective immediately because, of course, it does despawn at 1940, so less than a minute away at this point. And it looks like Xin Zhao is going right onto the Talia, and it looks like the Talia is in a really bad spot with the Nautilus flanking behind her, and this is going to be another kill onto the Xin Zhao.
This would be a perfect time for them to start the Rift Herald, and we will see the assistance pings go out onto it, so perhaps this is going to be the breakout moment for Reign of Kings.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to point out, though, that happened in that last fight is the shutdown gold from the Lucian went on to the Aatrox. Maybe not the exact person you wanted it to go on, but definitely beneficial as we see another fight break down here in the mid lane with Aatrox flashing in, the ult going through from the Yasuo, the Xin Zhao having to flash away, and it looks like he probably will not be able to escape with the shutdown going on to the Yasuo, and suddenly what we thought it was a Rift Herald for the side of Reign of Kings goes over to Team Fish Tacos.
Yeah, unfortunately, not everybody there at the right time. Malphite not being present with his ultimate up and at full HP, so he had 4 medium health teammates trying to take down that Rift Herald, and they just got collapsed on.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes one of the frustrating things is kind of like for me is the team from the side of Reign of Kings. It seems like they're trying to do a lot of things as we see the Malphite go down and a continued dive, and it looks like they will not be able to trade the kill onto the Shen, though it was very close, and they continue to pressure. If that, of course, is not the Xin Zhao there, that's Nico.
Right, and they really need to go send somebody up to stop the Aatrox. He has the Rift Herald right now, and if he spawns it, he'll get that inner tower for sure.
And it looks like we have another fight going on as they flash onto the Talia, and it looks like Talia is probably going down here. Yes, Yasuo is able to pick it up. A massive amount of damage going down onto the Lucian, but it'll of course just force a disengage. But you still see the Aatrox pushing, and he does spawn the Rift Herald.
There's the Rift Herald coming out. A little bit late perhaps, but definitely in time to pick up this tower should he continue pushing on it.
Yeah, but he might give his life for this at this point. You have both Malphite and Nautilus running really quickly, and it looks like they will be able to get there in time to at least go for the kill as the hook does land through onto the Aatrox. You see them.
They should definitely have enough CC to pick this one up, but it depends who gets the kill here, whether or not it's worth it for the Aatrox, really.
I think they're going to hold it and give it to the Nico. At least that would happen. Yes, and they do that. That's actually really big for the Nico. She hasn't really gotten a lot of gold compared to many of the other members on her team with a 6-kill Xin Zhao and a 5-kill Lucian. She's kind of, had the short end of the stick when it comes to the gold, but she's able to pick up a massive shutdown onto the Aatrox.
Yeah, so perhaps just a little bit too delayed in the top lane there from the Aatrox, waiting so long to put down that Rift Herald and push onto the tower.
And Xin Zhao just in the river at the wrong point at the wrong time. Or is it, as it is a bait for the Nico, hits a massive ult upon the whole 3 members, and it looks like you have multiple kills going over, and the Malphite ult comes in to hopefully clean up this fight for the side of Rhino Kings. TP comes in, and it's the Aatrox looking to redeem this fight for the side of Team Fish Tacos. He's flashing forward, trying to get on the Lucian. His ultimate's popped. Now it looks like that this is going to go in the favor of Reign of Kings pretty heavily, as Malphite's just now unkillable, pushing his way in, but finally pushed back by the Talia damage. And again, you have a 3 for 2 this time, and again in the favor of Reign of Kings.
Right. So it looked like they had a great start to that fight. The Aatrox wasn't there. They managed to get a pick starting out the fight, but unfortunately they were stalled off just long enough that they couldn't definitively win that fight and push on towards an objective, but still keeping themselves in the game in terms of gold.
And honestly, that's kind of
a bit of a 3K.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of like 30 seconds before you want the fight to actually happen, because as we see right now, Dragon is spawning, and it looks like we're gonna have fight again happen down here over that Dragon anytime now, as you see the Aatrox moving downriver. I'm assuming the Malphite will follow him shortly.
Yeah, right now, if you're Reign of Kings, I don't think you want to posture around Dragon, because these team fights are looking scarier and scarier. I think instead be better if you tried to find a pick with that Malphite ult with a Nautilus hook. But I'm not sure about this macro call from them right now, sitting near the Dragon Pit but not starting it up.
Yeah, I feel like this is actually really good play, really smart and intelligent from the side of Team Fish Tacos. They basically just accept the fact that, hey, you're going to give up mid priority, we're going to shove down mid, and we're just going to take whatever we can. Now, of course, you do see a really good trade going back onto the side of Reign of Kings, as they're able to push people off, and it looks like pick up the kill on the Syndra, but of course they did trade that kill back, and it looks like the Malphite will go down. So just a ton of kills going over every which way, and it looks like they're going to get another kill onto the Talia. So ultimately, another 3 for 2. That's I'm going to keep saying that line.
History truly does repeat itself, doesn't it?
Again, and this time it's flipped again, and this time they will get the Dragon. I do kind of find it interesting. I would have pinged immediately onto Baron right there, especially when Shen showed bot side.
I think it's definitely too risky. You don't have vision on the Aatrox, you don't know exactly where he is. He still has his ultimate, and with that Youmuu's, he can burst just about anybody for half HP as soon as he gets into a fight. I think they made the smart, conservative call there going for the Dragon.
Yeah, but conservative calls don't win games.
But they don't lose you games either. I think I think the Dragon call is a higher percentage play in this case, so I'm going to rule in favor of it.
Yeah, it's still definitely a win as far as kills and objectives for the side of Reign of Kings. They are still behind in gold, and honestly, that's probably the most concerning thing, I would say, looking at this game from the outside perspective. The Dragons are nice, but ultimately, and Backpack, just in a really interesting spot, is able to actually get away with his life. I'm kind of surprised. I guess Puffles didn't really know who else was there, and so she didn't want to continue chasing.
Right, you generally expect the other team to be warding in a duo or even a trio, so when she saw the Nautilus there, her first thought was probably, anybody could be behind him, the Lucian or the Nico. I don't want to get hooked in and killed here. So a smart decision, although it didn't turn out to be the right one in this case.
Yeah. Backpack just using his bigger brain to his advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Just throwing out the bluff of not being alone. And, like we're seeing Fnatic here stacking up in the bush.
Of course, they were they knew they were there.
The mid priority battle almost going the other way, but Reign of Kings not willing to push that just yet.
Again, good poke coming from the side of Talia. The one major concern is just you see multiple towers at this point. All but one of the outer towers has gone down for the side of Reign of Kings from just strong map better.
Yeah,
and
that is a very dead Nautilus.
Gosh, the absolutely massive amounts of damage, and they immediately aggress onto Baron after.
And now we see the problem with bluffing about having teammates with you. It's not quite a substitute for actually having your teammates with you when you're clearing vision.
And they force the TP from bot lane, which is probably what they were only after, and they back off immediately off Baron and look for a fight.
Ooh, that Nico damage is starting to look a little bit scary, although still not quite at the one-shotting potential that Syndra has.
I do find it interesting. You kind of see the variations in the builds of the mid laners with Nico suddenly did a complete Nomarellicon versus Syndra saying, no, I just need the penetration and going straight for the death cap.
Right, I'm not entirely sure why Nico decided to finish the Morellonomicon here, because you get the full penetration just out of the Oblivion Orb, and she doesn't really need the heal reduction, because the Aatrox has a little bit built into his kit, but he hasn't built a Death Stance or anything like that, so I think she would have been better served going for more AP like the Syndra.
And it looks like we have another fight in the bot lane. Shen is able to just dash out of that, but Malphite is chasing, putting on massive damage. Talia throws down some damage. You see Xin Zhao flashes over the wall onto the Talia, and they're able to get the shutdown onto the Lucian. That's pretty big. That basically stalls any team fight that's actually going to break out.
Yeah.
You just Malphite ulting in onto the Shen. It looks like it's going to be another kill with a massive flash over the wall by the Nico, able to root and kill the Shen and the Yasuo. This is probably going to be Baron for the side, or looks like they're opting to go down mid lane and look for the inhibitor of this.
Yeah,
But-
very good heads-up plays by first the Xin Zhao, recognizing that Talia was by herself on the side, trying to cause a distraction and just flashing immediately on her. And then the Malphite, the same with the Shen, realizing that he
Massive
was...
stun for the Talia, able to knock up 3 people. The flank from the Aatrox puts out a lot of damage. They're able to clear the wave, but they haven't picked up any kills. But there's 4 members at massively low health. Aatrox is able to flash, get the kill. Massive amounts of damage come out. Talia is able to pick up the kill, and it looks like you're going to have a total of 3 kills go over the side. And it looks like Talia is going to chase for the Malphite, and she's going to able to pick up that kill. And you have to imagine at this point that will be Baron. And now I'm kind of questioning the decision to not go to Baron for Reign of Kings and instead try to push down mid.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily a problem to choose to push down mid lane, but I'm not sure why they chose to dive so deep for that Syndra when there's an Aatrox nearby with his ultimate up who can just come in and clean house.
Well, they didn't even dive. It was just a really good stun from the Syndra caught 4 of them with her stun, and Aatrox was behind, so they weren't even in her tower yet. And so Aatrox kind of forced them to choose to go towards the Syndra or stay next to him.
Right, and instead of turning on the Aatrox, they chose to go through the tower to the Syndra. Obviously, not quite turning out the way they had hoped. Reign of Kings looking like they're going to need to improve on some of their macro decisions if they want to come back in this game. Besides their interesting objective calls, not necessarily wrong, but perhaps not the most optimal decisions.
And it looks like they're wanting to handshake another fight here at the Dragon, but that Dragon just melts, and it looks like
Backpacking dangerously close.
Gonna get out. Yeah, Malphite ults in. They might pick up the Talia here. They're continuing to chase, but I think they're just gonna be able to walk out with the rest of the team, only having to give up 1 death. But again, still the chase, but massive amounts of damage coming down for the Syndra. And then they have that tower still up from the early game, able to provide protection. And so it's nice to pick up a kill, take a Baron off the enemy team, but ultimately it doesn't really result in anything.
Right, although I have to say that I agree with the decision here from Fish Tacos. Neutralizing that Infernal Drake that Reign of Kings had, definitely going to be favoring them as the game goes on. And I believe that they'll even be able to make more use out of it, with more champions making use of it.
But of course, it looks like they're going to pick up the Aatrox here. Aatrox ults just to get the movement speed to get out, and that will probably be enough to disengage them. So they're able to crash the wave, but again, you know, if I'm Reign of Kings, I'm okay with this. At this point, you've wasted almost half of Baron, and by the time they get back onto the field and push waves in, Baron will almost be all gone. So this actually turned out as about as well as you could have hoped. You give up a Drake, you get a kill. It's not horrible for giving up a Baron.
Right. The biggest problem is that they really did need to look for an early Baron in this game to try to close the game out. And now as it goes later and later, I'm not sure what exactly it is that Reign of Kings are going to look for to win this game, unless they can just pull off a massive dive combo with the Malphite and the Xin Zhao. I really just think that they're going to lose out in almost every team fight from here on out.
And you can kind of see evidence of that just opening up in the CS gaps between the top laners, approaching on 70 CS in the top lane, a 50 CS gap almost in the jungle positions. So just really big jungle CS gaps opening up for the side of Team Fish Tacos. And it looks like, again, we have another fight engaged. Malphite Flash. Ultimate just misses. Good disengage from the side of Team Fish Tacos.
All right,
but in
well,
the end,
speaking of dive duos.
Yeah. But again, they were able to pick up 2 kills. So they're kind of fortunate to get out with everyone alive and played pretty well. But they're able to pick up 2 kills. So it's still being pretty effective. And then again, they're punishing the fact that Aatrox had to use his ultimate bot. Because you have to imagine that if he still had his ultimate, that fight might still be going. And it looks like they're just going to push through for this tower and then probably the inhib. And then they'll probably back off. They're not even willing to go for that, though.
No, with how low Xin Zhao is, the Nautilus are bound half HP, and having burned every single ultimate in that last fight, it's just a little bit too risky for them to keep pushing forwards there.
But as you pointed out earlier, they are on a timer compared to the comp from the side of Team Fish Tacos. And so, isn't it at some point you're like, there's 2 people down? Isn't this now the point maybe to force a fight and say let's take it, let's fight?
Perhaps in a different situation, but the Syndra and the Yasuo just have the potential to burst so many people down at once without any of your main tools to stop, but it's probably just not worth it.
And this Syndra, again, with another massive, I think that was another 4-man stun. She has absolutely been just spectacular with those stuns this entire game.
Just waiting to see her land one of those on the Nico or the Lucian to start out one of these fights, and it could be lights out for them as soon as it begins. Because she is pushing... Hang on a second. Where's the AP? Please hold. She's pushing on towards 500 AP at this point. Her ultimate could take somebody down almost from full HP if she has enough of her orbs on the field.
Oh, we have another fight breaking out here. Shen dashes in with a taunt, trades back damage, ultimately blows a flash, but everyone walks away with their lives and their health bars mostly intact.
And isn't that what's important, that we all have our health?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, not many people have had their health this game. It's a 33-minute game. You have 51 kills, so.
Ooh, that's a fair point. At least they're hanging on to it for this moment, though.
If anyone could say anything, it's just this game is fighting. We have another dragon coming up, and again, it looks like this one will be heavily contested, but it might just go over as you kind of see vision control just kind of going for the side, and Shen might face check here. A massive amount of damage comes through, forces the flash, and that might secure the... Oh, you have the Xin Zhao going on to the Aatrox. He forces him to blow his ult. He flashes on him, able to get the knock-up. Aatrox still running away. He's able to get away, but he's just poked out. And so this should be Dragon going over to the side of Reign of Kings. And that'll be third Cloud. So they'll be absolutely flying around the map, which I feel like is definitely advantageous for their pick style.
Yeah, if they can continue finding picks the way that they have with Lucian and the Malphite, they might be able to turn it into even more objectives. Now, their Baron taking abilities aren't as high as they could be, but if they can pick off the right members of the enemy team, perhaps the Talia or the Syndra, they could try to make a Baron play.
Yeah, I like this right now. They feel like they have tempo in their hands, and they're moving as 5 members, clearing out vision, securing the objective, and now they're probably going to look
Fish Talkers are going to have to be very careful walking to these narrow corridors.
I'm kind of disappointed that Malphite just didn't pull the trigger on the Aatrox right there. Aatrox
well,
without
the problem is if Aatrox manages to get his ult off while Malphite's in the air.
Yeah, but he didn't have his ulti. They knew they blew it from earlier down bot.
All right, fair point. I'm a little bit blind.
So yeah, I definitely think they missed out thing, and now that that's too late for that, you just have again really good wave management from the side of Team Fish Talkers, something that's been in their favor, and so Reign of Kings has to go and respond to that, allowing Team Fish Talkers to secure the vision of the Baron and clear out the vision from the side of Reign of Kings.
Yeah, of course, with Reign of Kings having the Scuttle Crab here, they have unclearable vision for about another 45 seconds, so they know that they're not going for the Baron. They probably even know which bush they're sitting in right now.
And another good guess,
that.
and that's honestly deja vu from earlier in the game when Backpack was sitting in that exact rush and got bursted down to death. This time, he's just poked very low and is forced to back. and that's just the signal for Team Fish Tacos to start Baron.
So
it's already
Fish Tacos
happened.
have a 4v5 right here, but they have to be careful. No one on their team is quite tanky enough to hold that Baron off for very long.
And they just decided to back off, which I think is a pretty good decision.
Yeah, if they stayed any longer, they were just asking for trouble, letting their front line get lower and lower.
Honestly, time is on this. Oh, it looks like we have again an engage onto the Aatrox. Just flashes on, kills the Lucian, and is just doing massive amounts of damage to the backline. He's gonna go down finally, it looks like, but is able. Oh my gosh, just tons of damage coming through. Yasuo ult comes in. Yasuo might be able to clean up this fight. Malphite's still alive doing damage. Yasuo trying to chase down the Xin Zhao. Everyone's health bars are blinking. He's able to pick up the Yasuo for the double kill. Syndra chasing the Malphite. Malphite is able to walk away.
Alright,
Again,
so this time we see a
3-for-2.
This time we see a 3-for-2 in the other direction, though. With Fish Tacos just barely edging out the fight, starting to build their gold lead back up a little bit to 3,000. And perhaps looking for push on this mid lane, but that Talia needs to play this very, very smart.
That kind of like Sheen proc from the Talia does so much damage. Took out about a third of the Yasuo's health right there. And it looks like she's chasing for another kill, but a good knockback from the Syndra again, keeping everyone safe. They're able to secure the Scuttle Crab. Now, here's something interesting. The health bars are low. They know that on the side of Reign of Kings. They can probably maybe look to set up or bait the Baron. I think this might be a good timer. You can even see backs are canceled on some of the members of Team Fish Tacos, because they're worried about that
Although,
possibility.
of course, they still need to worry about the Aatrox there. His ult just about to come back up. The Yasuo there, it doesn't look like that they're willing to pull the trigger just yet. They're playing this game quite safe, perhaps a little bit too safe right now.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the advantage, just the waves, the fact that they still have the two outer towers on the side of Team Fish Tacos has just allowed for so much pressure, and again draws players to deal with those side waves that honestly are needed elsewhere on the map right now.
Right, the one bright side is that Malphite does still have his teleport up, but they don't have that snap engage right now.
And it looks like Baron is being stuck right now from the side of Team Fish Tacos, with 3 members on it and another 2 members controlling, now rotating over to Baron, and that's going to be Baron, the second Baron of the game, going down for Team Fish Tacos. And you have to imagine at this point, the TP's just too late. They're going to try to chase, but at this point, it's looking really concerning for the side of Reign of Kings.
By the time they had realized where the members of Fish Taco went, it was just too late for Reign of Kings to respond. But they have the Drake coming up in 15 seconds. They are in prime position to try to burst this down before Fish Tacos can make their way there.
And this is our first Elder, and it's a 4-stack Elder, and there's 4 Drakes on the side of Reign of Kings, and it actually looks like they're going to set up a Death Rush.
Yeah, they're trying to pick up a free kill here and then become some very fast boys with the what is it, sextuple?
And it looks like they picked up the kill on the Shed. Not the ideal target, but it'll work. It'll make any fight a 4v5.
Oh, an interesting play here. The Aatrox going top lane, trying to create pressure before the Elder Drake is taken.
And they push mid too. And an awesome hook from the side of Backpack, able to get onto the Talia, just immaculate. The answer back, the Malphite backs goes top. He's going to be able to hold that tower. The rest of the team is collapsing onto the Syndra in mid. Yasuo's pinging onto Baron. Onto Elder Dragon. He's going immediately onto it. It looks like they're going to be able to pick up the Syndra here. Lucian chasing the ult, able to survive and pick up the Syndra. This should be Elder going over to the side of Reign of Kings. And again, another wasted Baron from the side of Team Fish Tacos.
Right, Aatrox completing his mission more or less on the top side. Only taking down the tower though and not an inhib, so they'll still need somebody up there to create pressure. All the while the Infernal Drake, or the Elder Drake, going over to Reign of Kings. And now, all Fish Tacos are going to be able to do is wait until that runs out, because they are definitely not winning a fight against an eldered up team with Malphite engage.
I want to see right now Reign of Kings group and force a fight. Go for the inhib.
I think that going for the inhib is the right call, but I'm not sure we'll be able to force a fight. If Fish Tacos assesses this situation properly, they'll probably just let it go. It's not worth giving up the entire game trying to defend one inhib.
Yeah, but this game's been non-stop fighting, so I expect that to continue to be the case. We'll see as cooler heads prevail in just a second.
Nico with some interesting back timing.
Definitely not preferred.
Going to have to stall out her team's push for that.
Oh, Talia in the just wrong spot. That's gonna be inhib, if not game. They're continuing to chase the ult upon the Syndra. That's gonna be a dead Syndra, and I think this will be the game going for the side of Reign of
I
Kings.
wouldn't say so just yet.
Aatrox doing massive amounts of damage. Nico coming with an ult. It's gonna be a 3-man, maybe a 4-man.
There's still two GAs on the side of Fish Tacos.
They popped one GA, and it looks like Aatrox is doing massive amounts of damage. He's able to turn the fight. Nico's going to pick up the Yasuo and force the Aatrox passive, but Aatrox is still alive with a GA, and he's going to run down the Nico. Holy smokes. Just
so the Nico showing up late, but definitely not missed. Ooh, as she takes down the last Guardian Angel.
And I think this will be a kill right here. I think she'll be able... No, she doesn't go for it. Thought she was going to have her snare back up and look for it.
The Aatrox doesn't have flash to go into the Nico. I think he just has to give this one up and consider himself lucky that his team didn't get completely wiped.
And for the Talia being killed and then the Syndra basically dead, that was Yasuo and Aatrox just doing massive amounts of work to keep their team alive and the hopes alive in this game.
Right, with only one true tank on the enemy team and everybody just piling into the fight, it was almost too easy for them to get onto the Lucian, to get through the Xin Zhao, and the only thing that ended up stopping them was the Nico showing up to start picking them off.
Yeah, I think there was a pretty great taunt from the side of Mistress E in there on the Shen, followed up by a Yasuo knockup and an Aatrox knockup. Just tons of damage at this point coming from those two.
Right. Although, at this point, both Guardian Angels down for the side of Fish Tacos. Reign of Kings going to have all of their items and at least 2 or 3 flashes up for the next fight, so they'll be all prepped and ready to go when that comes around. Unfortunately, not with their Elder Dragon backing them anymore.
Freshburger, you want to hear a prediction?
I want to hear it.
The next team fight decides the game.
Very bold prediction at 45 minutes into the game.
I mean, to be fair, no team fight at this point has decided the game. So.
All right, I'm going to make another bold prediction. There's going to be another team fight where they both call it quits just before they
where they go 3 for 2 again.
Yeah, where both teams decide they don't want to risk the game and back off.
We currently have pressure again in vision control, and we're gonna have our third Baron coming up here in 30 seconds, and definitely something that looks like Team Fish Tacos is looking for. I've been informed by production that there's only 6 minutes left on betting, and currently Reign of Kings is leading that betting.
Yeah, pretty solid 71% favor from the Peanut Gallery, but unfortunately that doesn't necessarily mean they have a 70% chance to win this series.
And I just want to point out, I think this is the perfect first game for us to open. It's currently 45 minutes, 28 to 39 kills, 79 gold to 76. A very close game. You couldn't ask for closer.
79 gold. Man, you can't buy much with that.
Yeah, sorry. 79k.
No, the story of this game has just been some excellent initiations from Reign of Kings, along with some picks on Talia, who seems to have trouble realizing that having bonus movement speed doesn't mean you should use it everywhere.
Yeah, I believe at one point she was 10-3, and now she's currently 10-11. So
I don't
not
think she was
best...
10-3, but she did have a very strong start that seems to have petered out just a little bit here.
I really like this.
Smidgen.
I really like this from the side of Reign of Kings, though. They are taking mid lane priority, and they're going to be able to push down, and it looks like at least crack the wave.
They have to be careful of that Aatrox flank, though.
They do see him on a ward.
He will come on them very quickly.
They do see him on a ward, and they're able to back off and ping him out, push him away. They do have a top wave crash that's going to have to be dealt with eventually, or that wave will actually kill
Alright,
the
Fish
inhibitor.
Tacos, the rest of the team going to have to respond and realize that they do have priority on the Baron. Oh, but they're not going to start it just yet. Bouncing back and forth between the Baron and the mid lane.
You know what we have in 30 seconds?
Is that an Elder Drake that I see?
That is another second stack Elder. If I'm Reign of Kings, I don't care about Baron at this point.
Yeah, I would happily trade the Baron for the Elder, but I don't think that Fish Tacos is willing to let them have it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you kind of look at where the vision is for the side of Fish Tacos. I feel like it's not even something they're really considering as a
Well, for the side
possibility.
of both teams, really, neither team has vision control over the area yet. Reign of Kings wanting to challenge this Baron instead of just going for the Elder Drake.
And Malphite goes in, hits a decent ult, but is honestly just already dead in the back.
Ooh, the Yasuo spending his ultimate just on the Malphite, though.
And you have the Flash, they're able to pick up the Syndra, but all the tanks are dead for the side, and it looks like the Lucian falls, and this is going to be Baron, and I think this is going to be game.
Right,
I think
well,
they just go top.
game.
Just go top.
Well played.
Yep. Nico is
The
still
Aatrox
alive.
backing, but he does have teleport, so he'll be top lane momentarily.
Yeah, I really think that was a mistake. I think they should have just said, let Baron go. Let's get second stack Elder.
You can handshake that and just say, all right, you take the Baron, we'll take the Elder Drake, and then we'll meet up and see who wants to fight.
Yeah, we've given you 2 Barons to this point, and you haven't done anything with it. What's a third? But at this point, that should just be game. Nico doesn't even have ult. Yasuo hits a big.
Getting hit up by that Yasuo.
And that should be game. With
You
her
hate
going
to see
down.
it.
You really do. And that is game 1 going through for the side of Team Fish Tacos, winning the first game of Season 5 of the GXPC Championship.
Well,
Season
it looks like
5.
the timer has hit 0 in comp. That's a real shame.
Yeah. It definitely kind of, played out the way we expected it to, in the sense of that there was a time limit.
To play out that long.
Yeah, just right. Very bloody game, 70 kills, almost. Yeah, I mean, it was almost a 50-minute game, so not quite that long. But just stick around, because we'll be back for game 2 of Team Fish Tacos versus Reign of Kings in the first series of the first day of GXPC Championship Season 5.
Make sure you guys rejoin us for some more heart-pumping action stretched out over 50 minutes.
We'll be right back. and welcome back to the second game of Games XP Championship Series, a series between Team Fish Tacos and Reign of Kings. I'm Hottie Williams, and I am joined by Fresh Burger.
That me.
That's you. In game one, we saw a very long 48-minute, maybe the longest of the preseason games possible. I don't know if anyone said any games go longer. I certainly haven't. And in that game, we saw Team Fish Tacos take the win after a massive 70-kill game. Does that about sum it up, Fresh?
Yeah, I think that's a decent summary. It was just a matter of Reign of Kings drafting for the early game, and while they did find advantages, especially in the bot lane, they didn't manage to convert it into enough objectives. I don't think they took an inhibitor throughout the entire game, and they weren't able to capitalize with any barons. So I'm hoping to either see a draft where they can compete more in the mid to late game, or to see them go a little bit harder in the early game with applying pressure to their winning lanes.
Yeah, one disappointing thing is they didn't rotate their bot lane around and take other towers on the map when they could, when there was the possibility, when either objectives were down or when there were openings. And I think the game ended with only 3 towers being down mid, and all the outer towers on the side lanes being up for Team Fish Tacos. So that's just a nice adjustment I'd like to see come out from the side of Reign of Kings.
All right, it would be. I suppose that they could have gone for swapping their bot lane the top before they took the bot lane tower and trying to get it in the 2v1. But against Aatrox, I'm not sure that it would have been their most effective strategy. They really just needed to have a little bit more pressure in lane, perhaps having Xin Zhao or even Nico come down to help them apply some of that pressure.
Yeah. I think the other big thing to adapt from early game is just to see a Jat maybe sacrifice if he's getting pressured out of his jungle, instead of setting his lanes further back by calling them over. I know it's something that's really hard to do. I struggle doing it as a jungler, to say, oh man, I have to give up my jungle. It's like the worst feeling in the world to give up a camp to the enemy. But sometimes that's what you have to do to help your team.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to recognize this isn't something that I can safely go for. I just need to find a place somewhere else. Like, if you know that the Talia is coming into your topside jungle, and you know that she's going to be taking all of your camps up there to try to capitalize on her advantage, then you know that she's not going to be able to counter gank bot lane, or perhaps even mid lane fast enough, if you know that she's all the way at your Krugs, for example. So you can try to use it to your advantage instead of just letting it spiral out of control.
So going into game 2, how do we expect bans and picks to adapt? Let's just start with Reign of Kings first.
I think that they ban out the Talia here because, as far as I know, Ajat doesn't really have anything in his champion pool that would contest Talia well enough to shut her down. So I think you want to take that off the board and give your jungler some more breathing room. Other than that, I don't think that the individual champions were as much of a problem, unless your top laner really doesn't like playing against Aatrox, in which case that is definitely a viable ban.
Okay, that makes pretty much sense. I don't think the Aatrox is a problem for the Malphite. I think he was able to survive and still have an impact.
Well,
so
Malphite didn't die very much in lane, but he did have a pretty massive CS deficit. I think it was 30 to 40 within lane, growing up to about 70 after laning phase. And the Aatrox was wreaking havoc on his backline. I know there were at least 3 fights where he killed Lucian with a flash Q.
And we have to remember is the Aatrox basically saved the game for the side of Team Fish Tacos in one of those last team fights where Talia had been picked and they had picked the Syndra, and then it was just 5 players from the side of Reign of Kings versus the 3 from Team Fish Tacos.
Right.
And
Nico hadn't quite shown up yet, but the Yasuo and the Aatrox together did swing that fight massively, with the Yasuo landing, I believe, a triple knockup into an ult, and Aatrox just layering on his Qs to pour out the damage.
One other thing, though, that did happen early on, kind of interesting, is they gave 2 kills over to the Malphite in a really botched dive from the side of Team Fish Tacos. I think if it wasn't for that dive, I think he probably could have just the Aatrox could have just split pushed all day, and they wouldn't have had an answer for it.
It certainly would have been a more viable option for them. I don't think trying to dive a Malphite is the best way to go. Like, the potential that he has to turn around the dive or just to escape with his ultimate makes it counterintuitive, in my opinion. I think if the Talia had just dropped a ward or two topside to help the Aatrox make sure that he didn't get camped, and then going to help out the other lanes instead, they might have been better off.
Yeah, but is that something you think of as Reign of King, or say for example as yourself as a top laner? Is that something team us when something like that happens in game? Maybe it's like, sure, we were able to win even though they had the Aatrox, but if they hadn't messed up, if they hadn't played like this, would it have been as effective? So you're kind of relying on your enemy to keep mistakes versus saying no, they're gonna play.
I think I lost track of which side you were talking about at some point in there.
Yeah, so Reign of King sitting there and thinking of, we talked about the Talia ban, but maybe leaving up Aatrox, but at the same time, they're kind of counting on Team Fish Talkers to keep making the mistakes, right?
Oh, right, because the Aatrox could have snowballed harder if they didn't botch that dive on the top side.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the Malphite still had enough difficulty against him that they can recognize it's a pick they might not want to give over, especially since Malphite didn't outshine Aatrox in most team fights the way that he would need to make up for the laning deficit.
Yeah. And you also have to imagine, we do have also a side swap. So the question is, does Vitar? I think I'm pronouncing that right. Does he play Aatrox? Is that something that they want to go after? Is, they showed preference for the Lucian and is now early on with the red side, but does that change now that they're on blue side? I personally don't know. I don't think I saw it in his match history.
If Viator, let's go with Viator.
Actually, he does play it. It's his most played, so you have to imagine that they will be looking to pick.
But if he's comfortable blind picking, you might as well go ahead and first pick it. But it depends on what you think Azuki has to counter it. Because if he can pull out something like a Darius or a Fiora, or even still a Victor, to try to shut down some of his laning ability, then it might be too much of a risk to try to pull out.
And it looks like we'll probably be going into Champ Select here in any second as we have the Pro Draft up. So I'm expecting that to come through. We have the readies coming through from both teams. It doesn't look like we have another technical difficulty.
Yeah, technical difficulty. Pro draft crashed. Unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky. It's not even simple replaces that, Pro Draft. Who wants to use Pro Draft?
I certainly don't, I'll tell you that.
It's instantly triggered. Like, your team requests Pro Draft, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
you don't have all the champions?
Now we're going to have to take an extra 10 minutes before the game even starts.
Yeah, you literally spend the full Champ Select time in Pro Draft, and then you spend the full Champ Select time again, basically in pick and bans, because you don't pick and ban instantly. Like, just do blind at that point. But we have to get
then
stats.
You don't get to pause.
Exactly.
And you know how we love our pauses around here. You can't take that away from the players.
Yes, true. Though we didn't really have any spicy. I don't know. Did they tighten the rules for season 5? Because there was nothing really spicy said. But again, we didn't have any pauses really.
Yeah, we are cracking down on those horrible toxic players.
Yes.
We will not stand for them. We will not stand for it.
And by the way, toxicity is all relative. If I deem you toxic, sorry, you're gone. So chat, watch out.
Oh, I'm gone? Alright, bye.
And Nick, you're toxic.
was that the 5-second ban that I got?
Dude, me and Zay were on the same page.
Oh, were you now? Alright, I see it. I'm in.
Finally. And it looks like we have resolved the technical difficulty with pick and bans. And
yeah, so now we've got Reign of K against TFT.
TFT, Team Fish Tacos, the tastier name winning out in game 1. But will it hold the same for game 2?
We'll have to see if K can restore its reign over the letter C. You know, always trying to steal its job.
Oh, big yikes. Okay, we got it ready. We got it ready. And
We got 2 readies. Let's go. Let's see this draft get underway. I'm ready to see the Talia and Aatrox bands come out.
oh, and it looks like we are underway with pick and ban for game 2 of Team Fish Tacos versus Reign of Kings. Reign of Kings on blue side this time, and Team Fish Tacos on the red side. And it looks like we have the LeBlanc as the first ban for Reign of Kings.
So we're
followed by
sticking with the same bands thus far.
Yeah, so far, no really change. Riven comes through for the side of Reign of Kings.
You have to imagine that Reign of Kings would change something up in their draft plan. Or perhaps they just think that they needed to pressure a little bit harder in the early game and they can fix it the second time around. We'll have to see.
So the first ban from the side of Team Fish Tacos in the first game was the Rek'Sai against the Jat. This time they haven't banned it, which makes me think they might ban the Aatrox. And it is the Aatrox as the final ban. So the same bans from Reign of Kings, but Team Fish Tacos adapts, takes the Aatrox away from the Atar, slaughtering his name, and this leaves up first pick for the side of Reign of Kings, and it looks like they want the Ezreal.
All right, that's a safe pick to go with in the bot lane. I'm surprised though that they don't have any other champions they wouldn't want to prioritize more.
Yeah, you don't really feel like the Ezreal is a contested pick. You know, like there's a lot of other champions out there that like have a lot of value that are really considered strong in the meta. I mean, like I'm perfectly fine as a jungler. You blinding like if Zenzao's what you want there, or maybe even a Jat's shown preference for the Rek'Sai. But again, they didn't ban the Talia, so maybe they want to hold that and not necessarily give up counter pick for the jungler.
All right, Master Yehover, interesting.
Giving out a shout out to the support player, Mistress Yi.
Are we going for full solo queue picks here with Yasuo and Yi?
I wouldn't put it past Team Fish Tacos at this point. And past that last game, 70 kills, 48 minutes.
Oh,
but
so
no,
going with the same bot lane pairing, we have to assume here, Yasuo and Shen.
So definitely something that they're really comfortable with, and definitely something they're willing to bet on. I feel like that's probably actually stronger into Ezreal than it was into Lucian.
Well, the problem that I see with it into Ezreal is that you're giving him the opportunity to farm up Klepto stacks on the double melee, and he scales quite hard in the mid game, right as Yasuo is starting to pick up steam, so he could probably still outperform Yasuo in a team fight.
And it looks like Reign of Kings also picks up the Rek'Sai and the Urgot, a strong top lane pick, and a Jot's favorite jungler, his most played and considered his strongest by many teams and many people in the GXPC league. And this is a nice pickup, I would say, is because it only gives Team Fish Tacos the ability to counter one pick before they're able to kind of ban away some of the champs they don't want to play against for the side of Reign of Kings.
Right, so they'll have the chance to start targeting some of their bans at either top or jungle here, actually, as Fish Tacos elects to grab the Orianna.
Yeah, and that actually could be an Urgot mid, potentially. I think that's what they're thinking with they're hovering the Scion ban right now. So I don't know if they're sold on it.
It looks like they wanted to pick Scion, but they ran out of time before it was locked in. Alright, so the Orianna is actually a Scion pick. Can we just Photoshop that onto there?
Yeah, it's confirmed. One of the disadvantages using Pro Draft is it doesn't sit at 0 for 5 seconds before locking it.
Alright, we'll get our spectator crew on that with the Photoshop. Anyway, so the Scion pickup into the Urgot, actually a matchup that I am a fan of myself. But both teams now electing to ban out mid laners, with neither team showing an obvious mid lane pick. So unless the Urgot's going mid lane, both champ pools being narrowed quite a bit here.
So you see the Nico being taken away and the Akali. So like a lot of those bursts, a lot of those S tier champions, the Syndra, and kind of to reflect on that, Puffles had some amazing Syndra ultimates, and knockbacks, more importantly, to save team.
An Italy pick. So both junglers going with some early game aggression here. That'll be quite fun to watch.
Yeah, I believe Nidalee is one of Heimerdoodle's most played junglers. So it's something he's definitely comfortable on, and definitely something that has a lot of early pressure and a lot of dueling capability with the Rek'Sai. We should see again a very heavy invade, heavy pressure from Nidalee.
That's a shame. If they were going for a comfort pick, I was hoping to see the Heimerdinger jungle.
Yeah, sadly, unless we go to a game 3, maybe we'll see it then.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. So the Rakan being picked up as the pairing for Ezreal, I'm not too sure about that one. I mean, he has a little bit of poke to get on those bruisers, and he has a good engage, but I don't know if he's good enough to be picked without Xayah right now. I certainly wouldn't think so.
Yeah, and I kind of question is like, why not go with the Nautilus again? I think that worked out really well in lane and actually pretty good in the team comp overall. If you see the final Lissandra pick, pretty strong against their team comp, as there are a lot of people that want to go in with the Yasuo they're able to lock down.
Right.
The answer is the Azir for the side of Team Fish Tacos.
Yeah, there's a lot of short-range champions on Team Fish Tacos that Lissandra could be able to push around, and she's just a very safe blind pick right now. The Azir is an interesting pick, I'll give it that. It looks like they're going for some scaling again to an extent with the Yasuo, the Azir, and of course the Scion becoming a massive meatball in the late game.
Yeah, it's not something I know a ton about as far as the Azir and the Lissandra matchup. I have to imagine, since it was saved for counter pick, that it's considered a counter. At least it is for the side of Team Fish Tacos. Something that Puffles seems pretty confident he will be able to push and, abuse the Lissandra on. That being said, Lissandra is a very safe laner right now. She goes Aftershock. It's really hard to kill her. It's really hard to get her out of lane because she's just so tanky. It's also pretty hard to gank her too.
Right, so it looks like Reign of Kings here going for a decent amount of early game pressure and a mid game spike, while Fish Tacos once again going with some late game scaling. The Yasuo in the bot lane, and this time an Azir in the mid lane.
And I do like the pairing of, again, a Nidalee, someone able to provide early pressure to get your late game champions to their scaling points.
Precisely. If Nidalee can have some solid ganks on the top side, it'll be hard for Urgot to get back into the game, and you could give your bot lane some time to scale up against that Ezreal.
Yeah, but that being said, I would say Ezreal is one of the strongest late game scalers in the game right now if he goes towards the double tier build. That being said, he's got a couple options in his build path. He could go for the Iceborne Gauntlet, which would again be very effective. It's a little bit early game spiking. It's really strong against Yasuo and a heavy AD comp.
I don't think Iceborne Gauntlet would be the pick in this game. The only real AD threat you have to worry about is the Yasuo, and with the amount of true damage he'll end up dealing once he gets Fam Dance or Eye Edge, I wouldn't think it'd be worth it.
You forgot about the full penetration Scion build.
Alright, we're gonna have to go to break.
No, but for real, yeah, you're right. There isn't too much AD damage for him to worry about.
So yeah, I would fully expect to see the Man Immune into Trinity Force build from the Ezreal, a very, very strong 2-item spike, and Urgot with his Cleaver and Lissandra with her Proto Belt and whatever else she builds. Doesn't really matter. She can still engage with her Aftershock and her ultimate. I'm seeing some pretty strong team fighting engage from Reign of Kings in the mid game, but I do think they'll get outscaled again, so they're going to have to look for plays a little bit more aggressively this time around.
Yeah, we kind of talked about how Nidalee provides some nice early pressure and some good duel potential. I think this game is really gonna look back to that jungle matchup again. Can Heimerdoodles keep track of a Jet, keep his lane safe, allow them to scale the late game, or can a Jet show why his Rek'Sai should be banned. Prove why, again, he is strong on that champion, cause the pressure, and basically take control of the game.
Right. I think a big point here is that Nidalee will be best at alleviating pressure, but there's a lot of escape potential in every lane, really. Urgot, Lissandra, and Ezreal and Rakan, as a matter of fact, all having some sort of dash or blink to get themselves out of trouble. While on the side of Fish Tacos, Rek'Sai has plenty of immobile melee options to try to get ganks off on.
I definitely expect pre-level 6 the focus to be on the top lane, and can we get the kill off before Sign gets too tanky, gets his ultimate, before Urgot kind of gets those items under his belt. But again, also I think Rek'Sai being able to focus into bot lane is definitely another option for him. Yasuo Shed, very easy to engage on. He's got good gank assists with the Rakan there. There's even honestly potential in the mid lane with the Lissandra. You do see Azir going cleanse. I think that's the right rune 100% of the time. He'll need that for sure.
Yeah, I can't
Otherwise,
imagine going into this game without having cleansing your runes this year. But I think you definitely raise a good point there. If Rek'Sai can get or got a couple of kills on the Scion, he can finish up his Black Cleaver before Scion can complete an armor item. Urgot could certainly run over that lane, and the double knockup potential in the bot lane would be looking quite fearsome.
so we kind of already touched on it before, but just give us a quick recap, Freshburger, on what each team wants to do and how they're going to win the game.
All right, Rek'Sai wants to rush some of those power spikes on the Urgot and the Ezreal to try to turn them into team fighting monsters before anybody on Fish Tacos can really start to scale up. Look for some engages in the mid game, turn them into objectives, a Rift Herald and a solid push, picking up some Drakes if you get favorable ones for yourself, a Mountain or an Infernal, and eventually looking for an early Baron play to try to wrap up this game shortly. While on the side of Fish Tacos, you really want to keep your distance, stay even in lanes, don't go for any massive plays if you don't need to. Use the Nidalee to alleviate pressure and just scale up, wait for those team fights that you know you're going to win.
The first game brought us a 50-minute slugfest, 70 kills, 3 Barons, almost 2 Elder Drakes, 4 Drakes for the side of Reign of Kings, but in the end, it was Team Fish Tacos coming through for the win at 48 minutes. What will game 2 bring us? You will find out in just a few minutes. We'll be right back after this commercial. I'm Hottie Williams, joined by Freshburger. This is GXPC Season 5, Day 1. Stay tuned.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa, and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Hotney Williams, and I'm joined by Burger for Game 2 of the series between Team Fish Tacos and Raid of Kings. The series is led by Team Fish Tacos 1-0. This is a best of 3, and this game we have on the blue side Raid of Kings, and on the red side Team Fish Tacos.
Right, with Reign of Kings being put with their back against the wall, one game away from losing, I'm expecting a lot of big things from them in this one. Looking for tons of early aggression. Although, interestingly enough, even with probably the better level 1 comp, just going to 5-point.
Yeah,
Play it safe.
Definitely something different from the first game. In the first game, we saw kind of like Invade's vision go down early from both teams deep into the jungle.
Right, it was mostly cut off by our technical difficulties, but we did see a 5-man invade from the side of Reign of Kings that didn't turn into much.
Yeah, and also there was five-man invade kind of in towards the top side from Team Fish Tacos that got to Leah, some of that early vision that allowed her to pressure. So this time, we don't see that. We do also see Italy setting up her traps for that Raptor start. Raptors do spawn later in the preseason, 3 seconds, but it shouldn't affect her too much as she does clear very quickly around the map.
Right, it looks like she's setting up her traps to hit as many of them as she possibly can.
And it looks like pretty standard as far as lane
Sion
go.
going with an interesting start, hiding in the opposite bush.
Yeah, I like that actually. He's kind of, they kind of are faking the leash. Like, they didn't show bot lane and they didn't show top lane, so they gave no information on where they were actually starting.
Well, he did show top lane in the fact that he was sitting in Urgot's bush, so he clearly couldn't have been leashing.
Well, I mean, it's more that he didn't show up until the point Rek'Sai makes his first decision about where he's gonna go next.
Alright, that's fair.
Yeah, so you see Rek'Sai going for red, Krugs, and into bot side, control that Scuttle Crab. Definitely a much better early game. You see
Sion looking to play this very aggressive already. Getting a decent amount of damage down on Sion.
Yeah, really good trade from Vicar on the Urgot. He's much more comfortable, it seems, this game around than last game. We don't have the signature Malphite thing all the time, but
thank goodness.
Nidalee already looking, but she is on a ward, but it may not matter. This might be a great gank timing from the Nidalee. She comes in. Looks like she'll just force Vicar back on that Urgot. Nothing really comes. You see.
Yeah, just alleviating a little bit of pressure, giving him some time to farm.
It looks like you see a Jat again wanting to contest. He's able to get a
knock
up and then collapse.
Knock-up timing.
And it's reversed. The kill goes over onto Lysandra. This is exactly actually who he wanted to pick up the kill. The flash force from the Nidalee.
So the exact opposite as it was last time. This time, instead of Heimerdoodle gaining the advantage in the river on the top side, jumping into the Rek'Sai quite aggressively and getting punished for it with a knock-up to the face.
Yeah, exact same mistake. His lanes didn't have priority, and he was like, "Oh, I can still go for this." Just not respecting the champion. And you see a great shade, and it looks like it might be a kill. Oh.
Now, Viator wisely not trying to pull out the flash for the last auto, as Sion did have his shield coming up just in time. And now the poke battle starting to be turned back towards the Urgot. He's going to have to play this pretty safe, because the Sion does have a surprising amount of damage in his kit if you step too close to him.
Yeah, but Rek'Sai is hovering topside. It looks like he's interested to see if he can get something off. Of course, there's no camps on the top side, as Nidalee did a full clear top before she went and tried to get the Scuttle Crab. She's now clearing her bot side, and will have a full clear, and she's going to look down towards bot, it looks like. But I think she's going to get spotted out by some vision. A much more calm bot lane, and just as I say that, Yasuo goes in and takes a ton of damage. But overall, a lot better for Yasuo and Shen this time around than it was in the first game.
Right, not getting punished as hard as they were last game, of course. As long as Yasuo and Shen stay inside their minion wave, it's harder for Ezreal to punish, but he can still farm Klepto stacks by firing his W or his Q off in a different direction and then autoing.
Nidalee going in for an evade again, but Jad is able to get on him, get the knock-up, and here comes Lysandra with a claw forward, doesn't decide to take it, and that's going to be the end. Some parting gifts. She did get the main monster, and it looks like we have a trade going in bot lane, but this one looks like it's going heavily in the favor with the Ignite coming down from the Shen, but they're not able to get the kill. Overall health.
Right, the Ignite traded for a heal. Not too bad from either side, really.
Yeah, and heavy trading again in the top lane, but it looks like it's, well, I mean, I say slowly going in the favor, but the mana pool is in the favor of the Urgot, while the health pool is in the favor of the Scion. Which is better? I'll leave that up to you.
I'm gonna have to go with mana here because Scion cannot really just walk up and auto attack the Urgot to death. It's not one of his strengths, believe it or not.
He does force the Urgot back though. I think Urgot's fine with that though. He can TP back and he's coming up on his 6-minute mark, which is of course when he can change his spellbook summoner. And
something interesting to note is that he did choose to take the teleport to start out, so he's going to have to swap to any sort of combat summoner that he wants.
He's also able to develop a freeze, which I feel like really benefits him quite a bit. He is down somewhat in CS, but you have to imagine as this game kind of gets into like this next little part right here, he's going to be able to get that CS advantage back, and he might even be able to start punishing the Scion a little bit.
Right, farming on Urgot in the early game can be rather difficult, but once he starts getting items under his belt, he'll start to win these trades. He'll start to be able to farm more effectively, clear some waves. And interestingly, we have a Dark Seal coming out for the Scion, looking to make full use of that Corrupting Potion, but not necessarily full use of its stats.
And it looks like a Jat here just spotting out the Scion.
Getting a solid amount of poke, but walking into a 2v1 that he should know he won't be able to win.
He's able to get the knockup, his damage goes back, and he forces the flash from the Scion. That's pretty big, but they don't decide to go dive.
Yeah, Urgot almost has the Scion down into alt range already. Scion's going to have to play this lane very safe unless he wants to back and TP.
Rek'Sai sticking there, flashes, goes for the knockup, gets the ult, and that should be enough damage. Unstoppable, really well used, is able to block and pick up the kill onto the Ajat. So they go 1-for-1 overall. Looking for a second, but unable to get it. So you have to say pretty well.
A very steady hand on the trigger of that ultimate there, waiting until you could block that ultimate.
Italy ganks bot, and nothing really coming of that. Good damage, and again, like we said, much better this time for the side of Fish Tacos in the bot lane. They're not as behind as much CS. At this point, they had died.
Italy putting down a lot of poke. Oh,
great flash from Shen to secure the kill.
Nidalee burns the rest of her mana on that spear. She won't be able to do as much.
Yasuo goes in on the ultimate. Doesn't look like he's able to pick up the kill. Everyone's in the bot lane. Good ultimate from the Lysandre. Avoid damage and put a lot of back. Health bars blinking on both sides. Ajat picks up the Azir. Yasuo picks up a 1 kill on the backside. Picks up 2 kills on the backside for a double kill and knocks up Ajat, and he's looking to go for a third, but Ajat knocks him up, and it looks like he should be able to clean up that kill. So in the end, I think that was a 3 for 2
3 for 2, what do you know?
That's the magic number. Too bad the series couldn't go 5 games. It might go for 3 for 2 overall.
That's true. But
and Ajat looking for the Draken, but he's on a ward and should be pushed off of this pretty easily.
Ajat putting up a strong early game performance so far, just barely dodging out on that spear. But Nidalee doing an excellent job of going down to push back even further the bot lane of Reign of Kings, forcing them back underneath their tower until they were able to go for that dive, following up on the Shen taunt with a quick kill on the Rakan, and then going 2 for 2 through the rest of the fight.
Yeah, and that makes the kills even for a small gold lead, but only a few hundred gold, opening up for the side of Fish Tacos. Nothing massive, so shouldn't impact the game heavily. The big impact, I feel like, though, is the fact that Yasuo has 2 kills. I don't think Yasuo had... I think he didn't get his first kill in the last game until like 15 minutes, so he's definitely going to appreciate that spike is going to come a lot sooner. It's going to be a lot stronger earlier on in this game.
Yeah, Yasuo looking to pick up some of his crit chance advantage before Ezreal can even finish his mana immune. It's going to be tough for this Ezreal to keep up with him in damage for quite a while.
And we kind of see why that Azir was picked as the counter to Lysandre, attacking her mana pool, attacking her health pool, has her down to half, and is definitely pushing that lane in. if I'm Lysandra, I'm actually slightly worried for my life because all it takes is a 0 and a Nidalee gank, and I can be in trouble. And they see they're using their pressure mid and their pressure bot to go for this dragon. Reign of Kings doesn't want to give it over though. Ezreal poke coming out, but it doesn't look like a Jack's in position. But a good Ezreal ult is able to push them off. It looks like. Though they just pull it and they go right back onto it. But their health pools are getting kind of poked out by the Ezreal. Looks like Rakan looking for the engage. His ult's gonna, it's a massive 3-man ult knockup, and everyone's damaged. Great 1-1 from the Yasuo. Shen ult comes through, knockup from a Jat, the shutdown kill comes through. Another kill for Lysandra this time, and it looks like Dragon should go over with everyone living inside of Reign of Kings. Just a really well done job done from backpack to hit a massive recon, and great poke coming from the side of Smoothie, making that really easy for them to clean up and punish the greed of Miss Nidalee Spear, but there should still be a kill going over for the Nidalee. Just a poor back choice from the Lysandra makes that.
I don't think Lysandra had very much of a choice right there, as she didn't have enough mana to get over the pit wall, and if she walked out, she would still be walking directly into the Nidalee.
Well, I think if she had walked out with the rest of her team, Rakan and Ezreal, they could have bodied for, made sure she got it.
That's quite possible, but we see a little bit of a flaw in the decision making from Fish Tacos there, but thinking that it would be safer for them to pull out the dragon so that they could avoid a little bit of Ezreal poke. But he had already used his ultimate, he had already used his W, which is on a relatively long cooldown in the early game. And all they really did was provide enough time for the rest of his team to show up and help him out there. Probably would have been safer for them to just finish the dragon immediately, and we see them get punished hard for that one.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the Yasuo's Windwall come out earlier to kind of try to block some of the poke coming through from Ezreal. Just kind of say, hey, we're not looking to fight you right now, we're just looking to get the dragon and then get out of here. Instead, he saved it for the team fight, and really, it wasn't impactful.
Yeah, waiting on it until it was too late. If he had blocked the ultimate and the WQ that were poking him down in the first place, they probably would have felt more comfortable finishing off that dragon to begin with.
Yeah.
But we do see a bit of an issue here still for Reign of Kings. While they did pick up the Mountain Drake, the only lane, or the only role where they have a substantial lead is mid lane. And unfortunately, that's a position where you really don't outscale. The Lysandra having a decent mid-game spike, but Azir really coming into power late game, whether he's down by 10 CS or not.
Yeah, most of the kills for the side of Renegade going on to Jat. He's very strong. Already did his warrior, already got his merc treads, looking for more damage, and it looks like bot might have something going on. Just top lane, Sion just being a punk and stopping the back from the Urgot.
Yeah, Sion just trying to force Urgot to stay in lane with a dwindling mana pool, so Sion continued to take advantage.
A Jat flashing on to Nidalee, able to get away. And it looks like Backpack goes in, trying to finish the kill. Jat goes in, trying to finish the kill, and she isn't able to escape. But have they overextended too far? The Lysandra comes in, takes her claw. You have a 0 on the backside, getting blocked by the Shen. Yasuo chasing, looking for a kill, but it looks like everyone's gonna get out. Oh, no, a Jet's still being chased by the Yasuo. Yasuo really wants that shutdown goal. It'd be a massive amount of shutdown onto the Yasuo. That's exactly who they wanted on. The Jet looking to turn. The Q is missed, almost able to turn it, but in the end, goes Yasuo. Is able to pick it up.
Chasing too far in the mid lane there is Mistress Yi on that Shen, not respecting the Lysandra ult, putting himself underneath tower.
Ultimately, 2 for 1. With both Mr. C and Heimer just going down. But on the plus side, for the side of Team Fish Tacos, they got the shutdown gold. 600 shutdown gold. 700 at the point onto the Yasuo, which is
that is a massive amount of gold for the Yasuo. He's going to be scaling up very quickly in this game. He's going to be a factor in team fights a lot sooner than he was last game.
Yeah, he gets his PD at 15 minutes and got a BF sword. He's already completed item. Ezreal hasn't even completed, and we see Ezreal going for kind of the thing we were questioning at the start of the game is what build path would he go, and he looks like he is gonna go that early Iceborne Gauntlet, and you can only imagine it is because Yasuo is getting ahead. He is an AD threat, but also it should be helpful to kind of help kite out of a team that's relatively kiteable with the Nidalee and the Yasuo and the Shen, and even the Sion.
Well, I suppose after Sion uses his ultimate and after Shen uses his dash, you can kite them out reasonably well, provided that Yasuo's wind wall doesn't stop you. But you can't stop the Sion ult, you can't stop the Azir's dash, or the Shen's dash for that matter.
And it looks like we have another fight going with Backpack ulting, knocks up the Shen, and he hits a backline, and it looks like, ooh, a nice ult coming through from Smoothie on the Ezreal, cleans up the kill onto Mr. Ski. Jat, again, just forcing a fight, and Backpack forcing a fight at any point they can use, using their CC to lock down targets. That is one thing that we kind of look at these two comps, something that ROK has more. They have more CC, they have more potential to force a fight and keep a fight going. And they're going to convert that into another objective, and in this case, another Mountain Drake, which is actually pretty good for their team comp, because they want a Spiker, they want to get those mountains, get those towers, get an early Baron, and close the game out before the scaling comes on. And it looks like they're going again onto the Yasuo, and they have Shen coming in. Shen's able to come in and taunt, but it's too late for the Yasuo going down to the auto attack of Smoothie.
Right, the taunt just too little too late.
Yeah, and in the top lane, you still have Sion absolutely beating up the Urgot. The Urgot is able to stay relatively close in CS, and they're able to take mid tower. This is one thing that we haven't really pointed out, is Lysandra's been roaming a lot, but counter, Azir's just been sitting in mid and farming, and then it's allowed him to pick up the first tower, and it looks like now they're collapsing top, and they might be able to know Urgot's able to barely get out, but they're going to be able to convert that into a lot of tower damage, if not the tower to the side. And they're able to pick up the Shen. I didn't even see how that would happen. I think he was just sitting.
Right, so once again, we see Reign of Kings picking up an early kill lead, but not actually able to convert it into much of a gold lead. The towers on the side of Fish Tacos, keeping them in the game gold-wise.
Yeah, and again, you see a good rotation, and Jat staying again, looking for that kill on the Yasuo. I think this can't be a little bit of an overstay, because Yasuo's got that PD, and yes, he's able to clean up. I think that's a Jat just not respecting Yasuo.
Yeah, some excellent play from this Yasuo so far.
A great coming over the wall, but a great ult from the side.
He has to try to keep this ult going so he can't get pulled back in. Ah, he ends it just too soon.
Able to not curve it, not quite the speed racer we needed.
If he could drift it just a little bit better than the ult timer for Urgot would run out before he hit the wall, but unfortunately, with just a quarter of a second left, he does run into the wall and get pulled back in for the kill.
This is one thing that Team Fish Tacos is really good at doing, though. Even though they died, even though they gave up another kill, they converted it into more towers and more damage. They got a tower bot. They got Rift Harem. They're getting
they're getting tons of damage on this second tower bot lane as well. But
yeah.
they are
looking
to get picked off here.
Yeah, I think
Urgot doesn't have ultimate, but Rek'Sai does, and Yasuo going underneath tower.
And heals even to die. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, a little bit of a questionable decision from the Yasuo. If you're giving yourself up underneath the tower, you might as well just commit to the death there.
Yeah, and I think really also kind of just disrespectful to the fact that, like, you know, we are slightly behind, and we do want to scale it. We don't need that tower right now. Yeah, sure, it's nice, but we've already got several towers. We already got several kills. Let's reset. Let's go answer the push top side. Let's look to let our Azir scale. Let's let Yasuo scale. Though Yasuo, 4 kills, picked up tower gold. He is on his 2 items already. Right. 2 items on his roll. You have to imagine that's actually really bad. And it looks like, again, they're trying to force the engagement. It just doesn't go off the time. That's a lot used from the side of, and it looks like his ear goes in with
the Shurima shuffle.
But it looks like that might have been just too aggressive and too much, and it's turned around for the side of Reign of Kings. Sion's
a little bit too much without the numbers advantage, and Sion getting picked off, or caught out away from his team.
But this might be an overextension. They're able to run down the Urgot. Urgot's no real way out of this. Yasuo with a great knockup goes in onto the Lysandra. They pick up 2 kills on the backside. This is great, a shutdown gold, and they're probably gonna push their tower.
Yeah,
here.
Reign of Kings just not wanting to commit to killing that Sion. They sort of scatter into all different directions and allow the Sion to slow down Urgot long enough for Yasuo to come in and pick up some kills there.
Getting good damage. Sion walks up zone suit. entire team of Reign of Kings. They're able to pick up another tower.
And it looks like they'll get another charge from this Rift Herald here.
And again, they're giving up. They're dying here and there, but they're able to pick up so much in objectives every single time. It seems like Reign of Kings just isn't able to play for objectives off their gangs, off their kills. The ones they're going for just don't really get them much on the map.
Right, so what we're seeing so far is a Rek'Sai that's looking to put the team on his back, but unfortunately, with that build, he'll probably go down too quickly in teamfights for it to make much of a difference. As we've seen multiple times already, he's not able to 1v1 that Yasuo, who is sitting on his 2-item power spike, and Nazir, who's scaling up with his finished Nashor's Tooth and some Magic Pen in the bag as well.
Yeah, I think I would just say, unfortunately too, is I just don't think you look at the jungle pool right now and you're like, man, Rek'Sai is a great jungler. And it looks like the overstay mid might have cost Lissandra her life. She's ults herself for the healing, but the Yasuo ult is just a great knockup, able to pick up the kill. Massive fights going on. Shen blocks a lot of damage with his pass. Shurima Shuffle comes in, doesn't really hit up much. The Urgot and Ezreal doing a lot of damage on the backside, but Rek'Sai's doing work. Rek'Sai's coming in, looking for the kill onto. Is able to pick it up onto the Azir and is now chasing down, looking for the kills onto the Nidalee and onto the Sign. Fortunately, with his build, he does actually do pretty good damage to the Sign, but Stein's just too tanky. And
yeah,
hey, guess
Sion
what?
having stacked up plenty of armor already, able to keep that Rek'Sai at bay. But
And
unfortunately, the Sion engage perhaps just a little bit too eager. The Yasuo ult only hitting one, and the Shurima Shuffle, I didn't see that ult hit anybody, giving up a third Mountain Drake.
well, I think the fight was fine at the start. Take the pick, take the Lissandra, and then use Shurima Shuffle to disengage the fight. They tried to use
if he had ulted them
the fight.
away instead of trying to get them back into his team, he could have just disengaged the fight, retreated, taken their victory, and then
Looked for the dragon or something.
and then perhaps
yeah.
shadowed the enemy team to make sure they didn't take
Exactly.
the dragon when they fell back in that direction.
But you know what? We had our magic number again. It was another 3 for 2.
Ah, those darn 3-for-2s.
Just won't stop. Sion though, getting really tanky. I think he's going to be an issue because when you talk about Lissandra, you don't really talk about a ton of tank shredding ability. And so Sion's not really having to worry about building magic resist, and he's just building armor to deal with a mostly AD comp from the side of Reign of Kings.
Looking to set up for a siege here in the mid lane. Probably a good decision. Backpack missing out on that engage and getting chunked very low.
Yeah,
Going
Backpack
to be a
not quite
massive
having
boom.
Backpack not quite having ult right there, so just kind of questionable decision point. A lot of times when you want to go recon engage, you want your ultimate to kind of give you that speed boost. You hit your ult first, and then you go for the knockup as kind of a follow-up. It's guaranteed. Really good siege though from the side. Nidalee Spears flying in, poking people out. Again, we kind of talked about how the Yasuo has already outscaled the Ezreal. Like, Ezreal is klepto. He wants to stacks, he wants to be ahead in items, and honestly, he's even, if not behind in items.
Right, the Manamune, a strong power spike for him, but with the Iceborne Gauntlet on his side and 100% crit chance for the Yasuo, I can't help but imagine that he's currently behind in damage output.
Yeah, and Alice has some pretty questionable decisions, I would say. Oh, it looks like we have another engage going. Rakan hits another 2-man on the backside, and it looks like they're chasing into a choke point, but a massive ulti from the Shen and a massive ulti from the Yasuo, and it looks like this fight just might be in the favor of Team Fish Tacos with low health bars on Smoothie and Unique.
Yeah.
It looks like we have, doesn't quite a... Someone died. At least someone died on the side of Fish Tacos.
They're the team of Fish Tacos, and blocking the Ezreal off from contributing to that fight, and then Sion ulting them point blank, Yasuo getting his ult off just before he was about to go down.
Yeah, I really question the decision fight in the jungle against an Azir. Azir is able to really use those walls to dish out a lot of damage. I know it's
Urgot
risky.
does have teleport to join this team should the need arise.
Yeah, I know it's risky, but yeah, this seems like the call. You've already downed into most of your towers. I really think this is the right call. You have 3 mountains. Go for
Yeah,
the
this is there's an inhib that's been cracked about 10 minutes faster than any in our previous game.
I like this, going over the wall, trying to kill the jungler. It looks like they will get the jungler. Question. Oh,
Ooh,
but
Nidalee got the return kill.
Finish the
Azir
Baron.
looking to follow up, but they're going to be able to push them off of this Baron.
And it looks like
They
they'll
couldn't
probably
finish it fast enough.
Rek'Sai forced away, but a lot of damage coming through the Urgot and for the Ezreal.
Oh, beautiful
the
knockdown.
backside. But Azir's here. Azir's full out. He goes in for good Shurima shuffle. Looks like able to only pick up one. Gets the kill. Stops the Baron. Azir flashes, trying to get more, but is unable to pick anything up. This should be Baron, I would imagine.
Azir getting a little bit excited, but they still won that trade overall. 2 for 1. And while they are a little bit low on health, that Scion has plenty of health and resistances, and shields, of course, to tank up this Baron. So that Desperation Baron, as you called it, not working out very well for Reign of Kings. I think that they would have been better served just trying to focus the Baron down and risking the 50-50, rather than trying for the team fight that would have followed.
Yeah, you have triple mountain. Try to time your damage. Have Ezreal land an E and a Q at the same time, or ulted at the same time. I think that's a better play than going over the wall.
Right, you're just delaying your damage on that Baron for too long, with the enemy team respawning and making their way over there, and we can see how it just didn't quite pay off for them, although it was close. So now with an inhib already down and another one exposed, let's see how Fish Tacos choose to play this. Yeah, with no teleport on the Scion, it's probably wisest for them to simply all group in the same lane rather than try to split them across the map.
See, I don't even think they really have to consider Bane. I think they can just say, we don't need to fight you without our spawn on here. Let's set up the waves, set bot wave, set mid wave, set top wave. The waves will crash, and then we can choose to basically...
Well, we've already seen their Siege potential. I think they can just group up bot lane and get a cannon minion to take down that inhib before too long.
And it looks like they're trying to... Reign of Kings is trying to force. They got the Drake. Honestly, this series has kind of been a story of, like...
Reign of Kings choosing the run-at-them approach to engaging fights. The Urgot not quite fast enough to get it done, and now they're being pressured in both top and bot lane while they have 5 mid.
Well, that and the fact that, like, they've given up almost every single dragon this series and said, we don't need dragons to be here. We'll take towers. We don't even need kills. They've been down
nice
kills.
cancel from the Scion there. Urgot not doing any damage to this Scion. He's just far too tanky.
Yeah. A Jack comes over to help, but I don't even think he's going to make a difference. Sion's just so tanky.
And now, as the tank in the matchup, he's drawn 2 bot, but going even deeper with his ultimate, somewhat questionable.
Yeah, I think he'll just be able to walk away, though. I don't really think there's any potential. They've almost pushed 3 people down here. Just
Scion taking the inhibitor with 2 enemies standing around watching him.
And it looks like Lissandra
beautiful engage from the Lissandra.
Great ult, great follow-up from Backpack. The question is, can they get kills? Shen goes down, but no one else to follow. But in the meantime, Sion's just bot lane, killing a tower. He does go down. And it looks like you also have the Jack going down, but Yasuo pushing into the base. Looks like he
no way
able to live. You do have
Alright, Demon Reaper MVP. That was a flurry of attacks there to pick up those kills at the end. Just moving as fast as the eye can see.
Man, that certainly is different from our first game. I think it's a story of, honestly, Team Fish Tacos saying, look, we can do the same thing, but we can do it cleaner. We can take Yasuo bot, we don't have to die. Maybe you question picking the Ezreal, picking the Rakan instead of trying to go back to the Lucian and they had some success with. But honestly, it was just a really, I think, impressive, complete victory from the side of Team Fish Tacos. They knew what they needed to do in the game, and they did it, even if they made a few mistakes here. Interestingly enough, I think Reign of Kings had more kills both games. They had more Drakes, but at the end, towers and playing for, mostly towers, won the game.
Playing for towers, playing for major objectives, working out for the side of Team Fish Tacos. And at the end there, you could see that the Reign of Kings just didn't know how to deal with that Baron push. They sent two AD champions to go try to deal with the armor stacking Scion, who was able to just stare them down and take the inhib in their face, and sending 3 to contest the other 4 members of Team Fish Tacos in the top lane, who did have quite potent siege potential, not working out for them either. The base just collapsing before their eyes, the game ending before they could figure out what to do.
Yeah, I really kind of look at this game I think Ajat did what he needed to do. I think you look at even Unique, he did what he needed to do in the mid lane. He roamed, he got pressure, he got kills. But you kind of look at the bot lane and the top lane, and you kind of ask for a little bit more for the side of Arena Kings.
Yeah, it's interesting that Smoothie chose to go for the double tier build on Ezreal, despite the fact that the game was advancing at a very rapid pace. You wouldn't expect him to have time to finish stacking a second tier, and of course, as you can see, he didn't even finish building the complete item yet. By the time the game ended, perhaps he should have just gone for some more damage.
Yeah, I definitely think that would have been an option for him. This kind of leaves us with a final question, though. In the first series of Season 5 between Team Fish Tacos and Reign of Kings, I think it comes down to two people who are potentially considering the MVP of the series. I think in the top lane, you have Azuki, who played an amazing Aatrox game 1. I think just absolutely carried his team at points in that game, made some amazing plays, one-shot the Lucian, flashed on him a few times, and then even in this game, drew so much pressure, constantly had his lane. But on the same side, the opposite side of the coin, you have Demon Repent in the bot lane on the Yasuo, dealing damage, controlling his lane. The first game, it was a lot rougher for them. They were punished pretty heavily, but he was able to come back, do damage, be impactful in team fights. And then in game 2, he honestly took over his bot lane. Some questionable decisions about over pushing, but he really did just dominate. I feel like in the second.
Right. I think if I were to cast a vote, it would have to be for Demon Repent. There were numerous team fights that he either turned into a draw or won for his team with some spectacular knock up into ults and some blistering combos dashing around the enemy team, just weaving his way through them to their carries and taking them out of the fight before they could have as much of an impact.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I'm a fan of top laners. I'm a fan of what is did on the 8 on Sion, so I would lean towards him. So I don't know if we should have Nick be the tie, or maybe chat. You have some input on who you think was the best person of this series. And there's silence. Yeah, let's go with Demon then. If he's got him set up, we'll bring in Demon.
Alright, bring the Yasuo himself into the call.
Oh, was I just dragged in here?
Yeah, Demon Repent, congratulations on your team's first win and the first game of Season 5 of Games XP Championship Series. I'm Hottie Williams, and the other caster color is Freshburger. We just congratulate you on specifically your team winning and then you getting the MVP for the first series. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your team? Your team's new to the league, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
If possible, would we be able to drag in a guy at 1 from Team Fish Chat as well?
Sorry, what?
Would we be able to drag in guy at 1 from the Team Fish Chat as well?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I asked specifically to bring in him because he's actually our team captain, if you can say.
I'm the manager. What do you mean?
Wait,
the interview's over already?
No, the interview's
No.
going on.
We're ongoing.
Oh, like you did
we're
it?
on air. I'm Hottie Williams.
Oh.
You've got you got Freshburger in here, and I believe I don't know your name. Can you introduce yourself?
This is Selden Polchinski.
Okay.
I was Mr. Z in that game.
Got you. Okay. We were just talking about how Demon Repent won the MVP in the first game of Season 5 of the GXPC Championship Series, and I was asking him to kind of fill us in on you guys' team. You guys are a new team to GXPC. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then just kind of Demon viewpoint on the game. What he feels like about getting the MVP role.
First of all, I gotta say, really proud of Demon Repent. He really pulls through. Yasuo AD carry. They let us have it the first game, and they let us have it the second game. Not sure why, but sometimes it really be like that. Team Fish Taco. We're a esports organization out of Jacksonville, Florida. We started pretty small a long time ago, and now we're doing pretty good for ourselves, having a lot of fun, and just building a really big community out here in Florida.
Very cool, very cool. Demon, specific question to you. Early on in the laning in the first game, it seems like things were going pretty rough for you in the bot lane, and not necessarily the way things panned out. Was that kind of, you guys were expecting a pretty rough early game? What was kind of the idea behind the Yasuo pick, and what were you expecting there?
The Yasuo pick itself is more of a comfort pick. I've actually been maining Yasuo ADC for like 3 seasons now. It's something that I use as a power pick where they can ban it for me. I'll just pick actual ADCs. The first game's lane phase, we sort of played for sustain. Like, we just tried to survive because, well, Mr. C isn't actually like a support player. He was subbing in for this game, which thankfully he did. We were able to play because of it. So we didn't fully expect to win the lane, especially against an early lane builder like Lucian when he has a CC bot, Nautilus. So we just tried to play the survive lane there.
Gotcha. Very cool. Freshberry, do you have any questions?
I sure do. So, Mistress E, I believe you said?
Yes.
All right. You're the captain of the team, right, or the manager?
I'm owner.
Okay, so if you're the leader, let's say, of this team down from Jacksonville, am I allowed to call you Lord Bortles?
Lord Bortles. Honestly, I'd be offended if you didn't.
All right, good. All right, Lord Bortles, what other servers has your team played in before this one? I don't believe I've heard of this organization before.
Team Fish Taco, we're pretty new to the whole esports team.
Yeah.
We played in Full Send Gaming's league.
Oh, okay. There's a familiar name.
The Get Wrecked LCS, which is actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but the OKLCS / Get Wrecked LCS. It's a league based out of like the Midwest. Finals are held in Oklahoma, and we did that league. We didn't make it to finals due to a head-to-head, but we're going back in next season, and we're probably gonna win.
Oh, that's pretty exciting. I like the confidence.
We've done a lot of roster changes. Namely, we subbed me out for a better player, so we have a lot higher chance of winning now.
Yeah, and that's an interesting storyline. Is actually both teams having to subs on the side of Reign of Kings instead of Arrow. They're starting ADC. They had Smoothie sub in playing AD carry, and then you also had, instead of Be Brave, which I believe is your starting support, instead Mr. C played. Sadly, we didn't get to see the Yi in the bot lane. I was kind of looking at that.
I tried hovering it, but they didn't want me to lock it in.
That is a real shame. I was looking forward to
You're the owner, though.
special.
Can't you just tell them?
I want to win. I want my team to win.
Hey, come on.
Okay.
He's not a dictator. It's a democracy over there.
Yeah.
Come on.
But maybe tell us a little about that. Were you guys preparing to play against Arrow? What was it like not having Be Brave? What can we expect when Be Brave is back? How does that change your team dynamic?
The team will be much better. I literally have no idea what I'm doing support. I haven't played support since season 3. I have no idea what I was doing down there. I picked Shen because I played Shen jungle a while ago, and then they nerfed his Q, and then Shen jungle wasn't viable anymore. But I thought if I just Archie Demon Repent, then he'll carry me.
I like it. Let your AD carry.
So
He says AD
that's
carry.
the thought process from this game build of the first game. I just had no idea what he was doing.
All right,
can
that's good to hear. So, Demon,
Yes.
I believe you blind picked Yasuo in both games. Is that correct, or did you pick it into Lucian in the first game?
First game, I believe.
I believe they picked it into.
We picked it into both times.
Oh, you picked it
Yeah, we
into.
picked it into.
Both
So you're not. So even against an early game dominant AD carry such as Lucian, you're not afraid to bring out that Yasuo pick?
I'm not. I'm
Are you?
very confident in my Yasuo.
Were you confident being able to win lane, or were you simply confident in outscaling him and being able to outperform in team fights?
I was definitely planning on outscaling him the first game, simply because of
having a sub support with someone that traditionally plays support, I'm sure we probably would win lane against it.
Are you confident in saying that you're the best bot lane in GXPC with Be Brave?
I don't. You know what? Sure. Why not? We're the best bot lane.
I mean, I'm not sure if they've seen many other bot lanes play, but
Chat,
Right.
you heard it. The gauntlet's laid down. Team Fish Tacos is claimed the best bot lane in GXPC. Arrow, that call out goes to you specifically, I think. I think they're going to be looking.
typical play-by-play creating storylines.
I got for the
I have to keep my job. I have to get paid somehow, you know?
On Demon
fair
Repent Wall of Awards, he was named MVP of the Get Wrecked LCS, and he was named best support in the FSG league that we played.
Very cool.
He was
cool.
actually a support main. We forced him to play AD carry.
Yep. I don't
Well,
want to be here.
At least he had the Yasuo ready for it. It was a very impressive performance, if I may say so. I definitely was having trouble keeping up with that. Quick question: do you think your APM is closer to 100 or 1,000?
I think it's closer to 1,000 simply because I non-stop press tab whenever there's downtime. Especially after I die, they just.
Those are some good numbers. LS would be proud.
No, speaking of which, I think that's going to bring an end to the first series and the interview. Any final words from Team Fish Tacos with the best tasting food on the West Coast? I don't know about the East Coast, can't speak for that, but it is the best food on the West Coast. Any final words?
Oh, whoa, hold on. What you? Best tasting food on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Best tasting food on the East Coast is Joystick Food Truck. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Joystick Food Truck. If you're in the Jacksonville area and you want a damn good burger, let's go down to Joystick Food Truck together. We'll take the whole TFT team out there. You go out there, you get yourself a nice burger. While they're cooking it up, you play old school games right on the side of the truck. They got an SNES emulator there. Play old school games with your friends while you wait for your food. Good food, great environment, better people.
So just confirm now, Team Fish Tacos changed their name to Team Burger, I believe.
Just call us Team Chill Taco. Chill out our sponsors any chance we get.
Sounds good. Any final words from you, Demon?
Well, after that spicy call out to every other bot lane in the league, I'm looking forward to these games following.
Sounds good. That is it for us. I am Hottie Willie by Fresh Burger in the cast. The producer was Nick in the booth, and we will be back tomorrow, I believe, with this is where I should have had it prepared, and I didn't.
With a team against another team.
Yeah, with a team against another team, and as I make this ending go on and on, it will be Schism versus Team Eradication tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to joining you guys then. That's it for us. This is the first game of GXPC Championship Season 5. It's been a pleasure casting, and hope you guys all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you back again